Good protection over the middle. It's caught for a touchdown. Jefferson. McCarthy. Pass is caught. Spinning grab by Aaron Jones. And somehow, some way, the Minnesota Vikings are on top.
You're never going to believe which side of the game I was on last night. Alongside Alex and T-Bone, I'm BK. It's BK and Ferrario here on 101 ESPN. Another disappointing loss for your boy BK as the Bears find a way, Alex, to lose against the Minnesota Vikings in a game that they had no business losing in. But that's not my biggest takeaway from last night. My biggest takeaway from last night in the Monday Night Football game is this. Neither of those teams are playoff teams. Maybe they find a way to get in by the end of the season, but right now, as we watch them for one night, neither of them is a playoff caliber NFC team right now, Alex. The Bears have too many questions overall. I have too many questions about Caleb Williams. I thought he looked really good in the first half, and I was ready to say, all right, Ben Johnson fixed him, and then we saw the second half. And it looked like what we have seen for basically the entirety of Caleb Williams' career thus far. He looked like the same dude. Weird decisions, didn't know where he was on the football field, and then just randomly steps out of bounds. It was like a basketball player who like takes a jab and, oh, whoops, there's the sideline. I don't get it. The spatial awareness just doesn't make sense to me. And then on the Vikings side of things, defense is decent. They're interesting on that side of the ball because of Flores' scheme, but offensively, dude, J.J. McCarthy basically had a good quarter. The running game is solid, but that's about it. That's all I can really say about the Vikings coming out of that one. So I watched the game. I enjoyed it. Fun 3 hours. Didn't feel like either of those two teams really changed my opinion in a meaningful way. I'm not sure either of them are playoff teams this year.
I'm not sure I watched it and enjoyed it. I watched it. The only reason I watched it in that second half was because I had money on thanks to our underdog app, promo code BKO. That was the only reason I'm watching it, because I texted the group and I said, this is like watching the Cardinals and the Athletics play against each other, or the Cardinals and the Pirates play against each other. It was just back and forth of miserable quarterback play. I mean, offenses couldn't do anything. It was a boring first half. And the second half, it was like the Jekyll and Hyde of these two teams, because all of a sudden McCarthy looks like the best quarterback in the game, and Caleb Williams looks like a puppy, and he doesn't know what he's doing. He's like lost his home right now. That play by Caleb Williams in the second half where he rolls out of danger and just steps out of bound, at that moment I'm like, yeah, Bears are not changed at all. Maybe their defense slightly improved. You saw some really creative plays schemed up by Ben Johnson early on in the game. Doesn't matter if your quarterback can't lead your team, and that's what it took away from this one. I think McCarthy, and I believe it was Jefferson that said it at the beginning of the season, McCarthy's going to improve as the season goes along because he's fresh and he didn't play for an entire year, but I think he's going to be an average quarterback, and I think that team is going to be average to above average. I think the Bears are going to be bad once again because their quarterback doesn't know how to lead a team to a successful drive down the field. So yeah, I watched that game and I said, cool. I had expectations that 3 teams for sure from the NFC North were getting into the playoffs. Maybe all 4. Now I think 2 are getting into the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. Watching that game, look, both those defenses are going to prevent those teams from having ish hit the fan, I think. But it's the quarterback play that you look at and you go, man, I just don't know about these offenses. Like, I agree with BK. Boy, that first half, I'm like, man, Caleb Williams, like, looks better. And then the second half comes around, I'm like, man, that guy can't hit a wide-open wide receiver over the middle of the field. J.J. McCarthy needs 3 quarters to figure it out, and credit to him. He was fantastic in that fourth quarter. But I agree. They look more like that kind of in that 8 to 10 range when you're looking at the NFC and how it stacks up than anybody that's going to slide into that top 7. And it's the defenses that are really doing a bulk of that carrying of making sure that they're going to be on the fringe of being potentially in the race throughout the season. The offenses were just lackluster. They do not look like offenses that can get you to the playoffs.
So let's go through this real quick. I'm going to go through. I think the teams that I'm about to mention are definitively better than either of the 2 that we watched last night. You guys stop me if you think that one of the teams that I have said, the 2 teams that we saw last night, are better than one of them. Okay. The Eagles, the Packers, the 49ers, the Rams, the Seahawks, the Commanders, the Bucks, the Cowboys. Have I said anybody thus far that you feel like the 2 teams that we witnessed last night better than them?
I
don't know. Packers, 49ers.
Seahawks, I would have there.
I don't think I'd put the Seahawks there.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think I would have the Cowboys here for now. I think that can change in like 2 weeks.
I think the Cowboys are definitively
like
because they have a better offense.
I would also have the Falcons ahead of the teams that we watched last night.
I agree with that.
I can understand if somebody wouldn't, but I personally would. That means that the only teams that I think those 2 teams that we saw last night in the NFC are better than.
This will be a fun list.
are the Giants,
Agreed.
the Saints,
Uh-huh.
the Panthers, and the Cardinals, maybe. And I could listen on the Cardinals being better than the two teams that we saw last night as well. Cardinals just don't have any blue chip talent. They've got a lot of decent players. I find a lack of blue chip talent on that team outside of Buda Baker defensively and Trey McBride offensively. That's kind of it. There's really nobody else that scares me on that team. We'll see on Will Johnson, cornerback from Michigan. He looked really good in week 1. But other than that, there's not a whole lot there. Last night, that was part of the thing watching this game is the Vikings had more blue chip talent, and that's what won them the game. You look at what they did offensively. Dude, it was Justin Jefferson taking over in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and Mason and Jones doing the ground game for him. You had Hawkinson come into play for them. Like, what's the common denominator of everything that you just said of the teams that are probably as the same as the Vikings and Bears or worse? It's the quarterback. All those other teams don't have a quarterback.
That's a good point.
And I don't trust either of those quarterbacks, specifically Caleb Williams, in terms of a situation where you need him to come up big. I don't think he understands how to handle the game. And McCarthy might be better towards the end of the season, but for now, I'm not going to bank on one quarter of him looking really good versus the 3 quarters where he looked lost out there.
I will say this. I like the fact that J.J. McCarthy appears to be like a clutch, I'm going to say it, winner. Right? He makes winning plays in those critical moments, and I don't want to undersell that because for most of the game last night, he looked like dog doo-doo. He looked really bad.
We said ish and dog doo-doo. This is going to be a good show today.
And then in the fourth quarter, he did step up. He made some really impressive throws in that fourth quarter. I don't know what it means because ultimately, like, the greater sample size is what matters. But this was the same thing that we saw from him in college. When Michigan needed a play late, he would find a way to make it. He never put up crazy stats. He never put up big-time numbers, but he made the winning plays when they were necessary. So I'll give him credit where it's due. He made some big-time plays last night, especially in winning time. Alex, final thing that I wanted to get to here before we talk about Mizzou on the other side. I know a lot of people have some questions for us about what happened yesterday on the fast lane. We'll get to that, I promise. If you could have one mulligan on something that you said prior to week 1, a feeling that you had about a team, about the league, about the landscape, whatever it may be, one mulligan you get a take back on an opinion that you had preseason that after watching week 1, you'd like a do-over on. What would you use that mulligan on for you?
I think I would use it on the Vikings. I think I would because I believed the Vikings were a for sure playoff team.
Okay.
And after watching those two teams play against each other, I don't believe that anymore. I think both the Falcons and the Buccaneers were better than the Vikings and the Bears. And for the Vikings to get in, they're the 3rd best team in that NFC North. And especially now after I just watched them play bad football against the Bears, I think I'd like a do-over. I'd like a mulligan on that Vikings decision because I don't believe they're a playoff team.
I would want my mulligan on the Dolphins because I said, hey, I think they could sneak their way into the AFC playoff picture. I mean, look, they got Tua, Tyreek, Jalen Waddle. That offense, they're going to get back to the motion, high flying, and whew, there was no high flying in Indy this past weekend. And I'm ready to say, okay, they are just a ticking time bomb before they trade Tyreek Hill and they end up firing Mike McDaniel.
I'll use my mulligan on the Rams. Now, I wasn't necessarily out on the Rams before the season. I was skeptical on Matt Stafford's health. And he didn't really do a whole lot in week 1 to be like, he's going to be the best quarterback in the league this year. No, but the Rams are good, man. They've got so much talent on that side of the ball. You look at it, I watched it in week 1. I'm like, they have Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua on the outside. That's going to work. Kyron Williams, that guy's still really good at football. The offensive line is fine. They have Sean McVay diagnosing everything, putting this all together. Yeah, that's going to work offensively. And then you watch their defensive line. My big question with their defense was the secondary. You know what helps a bad to mediocre secondary?
Good D-line.
A dominant pass rush. And they might have that. So as I watched week 1 and I see today, the 49ers have Brock Purdy, who's dealing with injuries, and his status for week 2 is already uncertain. George Kittle is now out for the next 4 to 6 weeks with a hamstring injury.
Glad I didn't draft
Christian
him.
McCaffrey, prior to week 1, popped up on the injury report. He looked fine, but he pops up on the injury report with some kind of a calf issue. Yeah, I'll go ahead and take the Rams as my team to win the NFC West this year. I tried to go away from it, but I'm going to go back to the Rams. That's the team that I was a little skeptical on. I was shorting their stock. I'm going to buy back in. After week 1, if anybody else is selling your Rams stock because they didn't put up big numbers against what I think is a really good defense with the Houston Texans, I'll go ahead and buy it back coming out of week 1. With Alex and T-Bone, I'm BK. It's BK and Ferrario here on 101 ESPN. 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line to get involved in the show. You can always check us out on YouTube as well at youtube.com/101 ESPN STL. Yesterday, the Fast Lane put their foot in their mouth. We'll talk about it next here on 101 ESPN. All right, so I got to address it. I'm the Mizzou guy. Alex, I know you're a Mizzou fan as well.
Yeah, I'm not the Mizzou honk, but I'm a Mizzou fan.
It's my school. I write about the team. I have covered the team in some capacity for the last almost 15 years now, whether it was day-to-day while I was at Mizzou and covering the team for KTGR out there, or now from afar when I wrote for Rock M Nation, or now you can find my weekly column over on the Alton Telegraph.
No, we're not promoting things on our segment, okay? Last Minute Blues podcast.
Redbird Report, available for you each and every week, except for this week.
Yeah, we're taking a week off.
YouTube.com/101ESPN.
Stay tuned.
So Jamie Rivers said some stuff yesterday that made Mizzou fans big mad on social media. Oof. It was like a 6-minute diatribe, Alex. The video that's being passed along right now on social media, it's so long that they did it at 1.5 times speed, which I have never listened to the show that way, and I did not enjoy it.
It's actually fun if you've ever listened to anything at 1.5 speed. People have like those squeaky voices like the chipmunks.
I can't imagine hearing myself in 1.5 speed. That would be a disaster.
Yeah, it's like chipmunks on steroids.
So if you missed it, if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about because social media is not real life, here's what Jamie Rivers had to say yesterday about Mizzou fans overselling the win against Kansas.
I'm watching on social media, people just celebrating like they won the national championship. FKU, all this, and Bo Perbula. Somebody said he's the #1 quarterback in the SEC. Who have you played? I love the Missouri Tigers, so I'm sure people are going to be pissed off at me. But you haven't beaten anybody good yet. There is nothing that shows me that you are a good football team. You pounded the piss out of 2 teams you should have pounded the piss out of. So when we get people celebrating, popping champagne, and it's going to be a 10-2 team, and what? You haven't played anybody.
All right.
Oh, man. First of all, can I address something?
Why were they upset?
Well, not that.
The people. Why don't get it?
Mizzou fans?
Shut up.
The fast lane.
If we could do that, we could spin that just with Illinois if you'd like to.
Duke up.
Jamie worked with you for how long?
A year plus, year and a half.
Okay. In a year plus, a year and a half, he got BK's tone. That was a very Tony segment.
Yeah.
So I will say this. He is more than within his rights to have that opinion.
But
I disagree with all of it. I disagree with it. I would also like this to be said, and I'll just put this out on the front end. Man, that is not a reflection of 101 ESPN. That is a reflection of Jamie Rivers. and for those of you
tagging us on Twitter.
Saying, hey, ban 101 ESPN from Mizzou Athletics, stop it.
also stop tagging us because I got like 5 tweets last night that had nothing to do with me.
Man, my livelihood is associated with covering Mizzou, so stop it. Okay.
Jeez.
I disagree with what he said there. And part of it is because of this. He said, what have they done? Who have they beaten? They took care of business against the teams that they were supposed to take care of business against. Man, that's college football. That's how you know who the good teams are. The good teams take care of business against those teams. The good teams go out there and they smack the bad ones. You know what concerns me? When LSU wins 23-7 against Louisiana Tech this week. When Georgia has to throw the ball almost 40 times to win 28-6 against Austin Peay. When you see these games that are closer than you expect them to be, Clemson 27-16 against Troy. Clemson, a top 10 team in the country, had the same margin of victory as Missouri against a, in my opinion, borderline top 25 team in Kansas. And this is where I think the root of the disagreement comes in. I would say that Kansas is a good team this year. Are they a great one? No, absolutely not. I do not believe that. But I think Kansas is good, and I do think that they will probably upset some teams this year because they have a stud 6th-year starting quarterback, which is a difficult thing to prepare for, who does the thing that is impossible to prepare for, which is run and pass. They also have a couple of NFL defenders on the defensive side of the ball, and I think they have a really talented wide receiver. You add all of that up with an excellent coach in Lance Leipold, got a pretty good team. I think they'll probably win like 8 games this year. And that game, if you lose it, completely sinks your season if you're Mizzou. So they took care of business, man. They got hit with some adversity. They have the fumble that scoop and score. They have a couple of bad defensive plays early on. And boom, you're down by 2 scores. All right, let's see how you respond. They respond. They win by double digits. Not only do they win, but as the fast lane says, good teams win. Great teams do
cover.
what?
They cover.
And Mizzou covered.
Yep.
So
Attaboy.
why are you celebrating? Because you just won the Border War, a game that was the biggest game of the season every year. And it's only been played once in the last 15 years, and you got the dang drum. That's going back to Columbia. Why else are you celebrating? Because Mizzou looks good. I can't believe that this is a controversial opinion, but apparently among some it is. Bo Perbula looks awesome. Jamie mentioned who the guy is that ranked him as the #1 quarterback in the SEC. Dude, it's Bill Bleepin' Connolly, who writes about college football for a living, so much so that he just wrote a bleepin' book about the sport. So, like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take his word on who's been the best quarterback in the SEC this year, and his name is Bo Perbula. So, yes, I think that Missouri is actually good. They have indeed taken care of business so far this year, and I'm going to go ahead and stick up for my squad because that's my team. And I also respect the right for Jamie to be wrong on this because that's his opinion on the matter as well.
Here's the part that always frustrates me is last week when we were previewing this game, not just us, but other shows nationally and locally, they're previewing it saying this is a big test for Mizzou. Kansas, it's a big test for Mizzou. Plenty of conversation on the SEC network talking about taking on Jalen Daniels and dealing with that offensive ability, talking about the defensive players that you mentioned. But then when they win it, it's, well, who did they beat? You didn't beat anybody. We can't act as if it's a big test for Mizzou and then say, well, you didn't do anything. You didn't beat anybody. But I'd also look at it because I saw a lot of people very frustrated about the whole saying Bo Prabula is one of the best quarterbacks in the SEC. I think you and I both talked about that. Yeah. And then with Jamie saying, well, who did they beat? Man, look around at some of these teams in the SEC and say, who did they beat? Because, like Texas, they lost to Ohio State, and then they beat, who was it, Austin Peay or in week 2?
Talking about Texas?
Yeah.
San Jose State.
San Jose State, thank you. Georgia was the one that beat Austin Peay in the second week. But Alabama gets their butts kicked in week 1 and then looks better in week. Nobody in the SEC has beaten anybody that I can sit there and be like, oh, yeah, that's definitively
LSU
better.
would be the closest thing. They beat Clemson. I'll give them the credit where they deserve, but they then came back this week and looked terrible.
But also, Clemson's not looking like a world beater right now in college football. I mean, the world beaters are all in the Big Ten. So why Prabula looks one of the best in the SEC? Because he looks like one of the best quarterbacks in the SEC right now, albeit they haven't beaten anybody big, but he still is putting up points to the same competitive level that some of these other guys are.
I gave you my opinion on the matter. I do want to also say this. Mizzou fans, we got to toughen up a little bit. We got to toughen up a little bit. We got to get some thicker skin. What Jamie said, while I disagree with all of it, and I defend the right of Mizzou fans to be excited about a win against Kansas and a win that keeps you alive for everything that you hoped and dreamed would be the case for this year. I think part of this, by the way, is Mizzou fans had legit questions about their team going into the season. I think fair, justified. And this game gave them optimism that, all right, some of those questions that I had coming into the season, they're going to be answered in the affirmative. I didn't know if we had a quarterback. Mizzou does have a quarterback. It appears that Bo Prabula is quite good. How good? We don't really know yet. I do agree with Jamie on that. It's 2 games. It's really a game and a half for Bo Prabula. I don't know. But he looks really good thus far. He's passed every test with flying colors. And some of the stuff that should translate later on into the season, we've seen that thus far against Central Arkansas and against Kansas. So that's part of this. But, guys, you don't need affirmation from national media. If your team's good, your team's good. And that will show up over the course of the entirety of the season. Like Louisiana, they should kick the crap out of them this weekend. It's like a 20-some-odd point line. They should win that game big. Next week, you've got a huge game against South Carolina. You very well may have College game day there for that game. It's a night game that will likely be played on ABC. It's a huge game. Take care of business there. You'll get your love. I promise you. If you take care of business against South Carolina and then 2 weeks later you take care of business again against Alabama, you'll be a top 10, top 15 team in the country. You'll get your love from networks like ESPN and SEC Network and all of that. Part of what's happening here is Mizzou, it's been a while since they have been respected on a national level. And basically ever since the move to the SEC, it has not felt as though they have been appreciated by the conference for some of the things that this team has accomplished within the conference. 2013, 2014, back-to-back division titles. And so I think there is something to this, like, we need you to appreciate our success. You don't. You don't. Appreciate your own successes, enjoy it, celebrate the hell out of it. You guys can go out there and celebrate that win against Kansas. You should be. That was a fun as hell game, dude. That was great. I enjoyed every second of it. And you should be celebrating this team. But if you're looking for national or local media to celebrate it for you, I mean, if they don't, they don't. That's fine. Whatever. If you don't like my team, keep watching them because they're going to keep kicking the crap out of everybody that's on the other side. That's the way that you should approach that, in my opinion. Personally.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I would add to this, too, like, I think we get lost sometimes in, like, the whole big win, what does it matter? Does it matter if you take down a big team? Hey, man, what matters most is the number that's in that W column. And Mizzou's got 2 of them in 2 opportunities right now. Look, anybody wanted to be critical of Indiana last year that they didn't have the big one on their schedule? Hey, man, they won 11 football games. Like, deal with it, okay? They did what you mentioned earlier. Good teams will end up beating the bad teams on their schedule. And I don't even think Kansas is a bad team. Look, Illinois and Missouri had big tests over the weekend. The team that played the hardest opponent was Missouri. I think Kansas is a better football team than Duke.
I agree. And going on the road is a bigger test, but I
sure,
agree with
but let's be honest, that Duke environment was not great, right?
No,
there was a lot of people dressed as seats at that game. I look at that and I go, okay, look, I'm excited that Illinois got the big win, right? They took care of business. They go on the road. They beat an ACC opponent. The better football team is Kansas. And sure, they came on the road, but Mizzou passed with every flying color that you might want. You get the affirmation that you're looking for of, hey, look, we do have a quarterback. The O-line was not bad in that game for the Missouri Tigers, which was a big question mark. Man, wins matter. That is the most important part of all of it. Wins are the thing that determine if you get to the college football playoff. Not that you played a tough schedule and had 4 losses. No, it's the wins, and that's what's most important.
That's ultimately what's going to matter here. If Missouri keeps winning, they're going to keep shutting up these people that are doubters, whether that's Jamie Rivers or somebody on ESPN that you dislike, like whoever it is, whoever is the guy that said the thing. That's ultimately what this comes down to, right? Jamie today is the guy that said the thing. Carrie today is the guy that said the thing. Next week, it's going to be somebody else. Maybe it'll be somebody, Josh Pete, the guy that does the college football show. He's going to be the guy that says the thing where he's like, I don't believe in Missouri. Yeah, they beat Louisiana and Kansas and Central Arkansas. Am I really supposed to believe in them? They're going to go into Fro Field this weekend, play against South Carolina, and lose by 2 touchdowns. Like, somebody's going to be the next guy that says the thing. Who cares? Shut it all out. If your team's as good as I personally think that they are, they're going to have a chance this year to put up double-digit victories. And if they do, you'll get the respect that you deserve. And hell, even if you don't, who cares? Seriously, who cares? It's your squad. Like, I'm a Chiefs fan, right? You know this, Alex. You're a Blues fan. You've certainly seen this where the national pundits don't necessarily respect them the way that they deserve to be. Man, that almost makes it that much sweeter. Mm-hmm. When you have people that are doubting your program and you just keep winning, you just keep proving them wrong, oh, that's the best place to be. When people start buying in and everybody is saying that you're going to win, every win becomes relief. It's no longer fun anymore. It's just, at least they didn't lose that time. That's where Alabama was for a number of years. That's where Georgia finds itself. That's where Clemson finds itself. Where Missouri's at as a program right now, where you're trying to climb that hill once again, really for the first time in the meaningful way, this is where it gets fun. Illinois is the same place. Illinois this year is trying to prove any of the doubters that had questions about their program wrong. Me, last week.
Yeah.
They're trying to prove you wrong. And as they continue racking up the wins, they'll continue proving more and more people wrong. So one thing that I would say, thicker skin, but also M-I-Z, baby. With Alex and T-Bone, I'm BK. It's BK and Ferrario here on 101 ESPN. Coming up in 15 minutes, we'll get into questions and answers. But coming up next, who would you consider to be the one that got away for the Cardinals over the last decade? We'll talk about it next year on 101 ESPN. Football is back. Underdog is the best place to select entries and win money all season long. And here's the best part, Alex. You can do it right here in the state of Missouri. I had a couple of plays last night on the Bears versus the Vikings. I was one play off. I needed that Andrew Van Ginkel sack. But here we are. We're going back at it tonight. I've got a baseball play for you, Alex. I've got Cal Raleigh higher on the home runs. Great against lefties this year. Matthew Liberatore lower on his strikeouts going into tonight's game. That's a 3-1 play for your boy BK.
It's simple enough. BK just told you how to do it. And if you get your entries right, you could win up to 5,000 times your cash and play with as little as $1. So download the Underdog app today and sign up with promo code BKO to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's right, promo code BKO. Millions of fans have already won billions making plays on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog, make plays, win money. Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Tanner Hendrickson here with a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Cardinals ended up falling to the Mariners yesterday 4-2. They are back in action tonight. 8:40 will be first pitch. Matthew Liberatore will be on the mound for St. Louis, and he'll be going up against George Kirby for the Seattle Mariners. The Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. CMaLondoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Alongside Alex and T-Bone on BK, our conversation kind of spilled over into the next segment. Let's go ahead and put this out there.
What the baseball?
The YouTube chat is going off about how I'm not holding anybody accountable and I'm soft and this is the soft meat. Man, I think all of this can be true. Mizzou had a good win. The quarterback looked good. It was celebrated. It should have been celebrated. And also the next step, and I think this is where most Mizzou fans are at, and maybe this is where the disconnect comes in. Everybody wants more. They can't just stop there. You can't just beat Kansas and then go 7-5 and feel like it was a good season. No, that Kansas game won't be remembered if you end up not continuing to accomplish your goals. You now have to go out there and take care of business first this weekend against Louisiana, and then more importantly, in your first really big test of the season when you play against South Carolina. So just wanted to put a bow on that. That's where we're at with the Missouri things. We can talk about it a little bit more as we go along here today. But, Alex, I did want to talk about this because last night the Cardinals got to see Randy Arozarena again.
Yay!
Cardinals on the road for anybody that missed it, and I'm sure there were many of you because, just like me, it was a West Coast game, and
I didn't know they were playing Tampa Bay.
Maybe you were a little more focused.
I know. That was the joke that I wasn't watching the game?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Cardinals were in Seattle last night. The lineup was as sleepy as you were as the game was taking place. They end up getting exactly 3 hits and struck out 14 times. Randy Arozarena, however, was pretty decent in the game. 2 for 4 overall. Did have a couple of strikeouts. Alex, he's having another really solid season. He's just settled in as basically right-handed Alec Burleson, but doing what Alec Burleson has done this year for a 7-year stretch.
And then in the playoffs goes off.
He's been very, very good. For some, he's the one that got away. You look at it and you see the Cardinals outfield construction and you see what they've lacked with consistency in that regard. Randy Arozarena is exactly what they have been missing for the last 5+ seasons. For you, Alex, when you think about it, and let's go back to 2016, really when this all started, do you have a specific player in mind that is the one that got away, that they traded away, that they let go on waivers, whatever the case may have been? Is there a guy that got away in your opinion?
I mean, there's multiple guys that got away,
Sure.
but the one at the top of the list probably would be Randy Arozarena. And the reason being is the one thing that we have been talking so much about, and I understand he's fallen back down to earth in terms of not being this superstar like we all thought he was in that 2020 season for Tampa Bay, but he still has been a star in the league in terms of his bat and how he plays. The one thing the Cardinals have been lacking that they still lack today is a right-handed outfielder that brings their lineup to the next level. And that, to me, has been Randy Arozarena. I'm sure you guys probably have pitchers in mind, but like when I look at the bats, I think Randy Arozarena is exhibit A on something that the Cardinals missed on.
I don't know if it's fair to say that this guy got away because it wasn't like the Arozarena trade where it was, hey, we're kind of like choosing defense over offense, and that's why we're making this move. But I would look at Alcantara when he got away from him, when they made that trade. Because remember, when you look at him in the minor leagues, it was, hey, I don't know if the command's going to come for this guy. He's a hard-throwing righty, but is the command going to be there for him? He walks a lot of guys. And then you look at him in Miami, and you're like, wow, we gave up a guy that won the Cy Young, is a true ace. And though he's had his struggles this year coming back from Tommy John, maybe this narrative changes on him. But you look at his 100 starts from 2022 through 2023, 3.13 ERA, 661 innings pitched, and was 38% above league average. Like, that's the guy the Cardinals have been missing to lead their rotation for the last couple of years. Even Sonny Gray, which I love the signing when they did it. Sonny Gray's not been an ace. Sonny Gray's been more of a 2 than he has been a number 1 since he's been here in St. Louis. I think Alcantara's the guy that I look back on and go, man, if you could have had him when they were winning in 2022 with Goldie and Arenado and Pujols, man, we are talking about that Cardinals team a hell of a lot different, and they probably would have made some noise in October.
So I mentioned it before, but I think it's the right answer. I think it's Randy Arozarena. He got away, man. He was the one. And when you think about the way that he has produced in the outfield, he has a 250 average, 350 on base, and an OPS of right around 800. That's 25% above league average offensively. And you look at the Cardinals outfield in this stretch of time, it's been one of the worst in Major League Baseball. In fact, it's the only Cardinals that have been more productive since the start of the 2020 season offensively than Randy Arozarena are Paul Goldschmidt and Wilson Contreras, end of list. He's been better offensively than Nolan Arenado, Lars Nootbaar, Tyler O'Neill, Burleson, etc. All of those guys less productive offensively than Randy Arozarena. They have severely lacked a player that has his kind of enthusiasm, his kind of excitement. I mean, you look, it's not only the fact that he provides some pop from your lineup. Here's his stolen base numbers by year, Alex. 20, 32, 22, 20, and 27. He has over that stretch of time, he has 120 stolen bases. Meanwhile, for the Cardinals, you look at their stolen base numbers. Who do you think leads the team in stolen bases since the start of the 2020 season?
Oh, man.
Why do I feel like it's Paul Goldschmidt?
He's second. He has 42.
Wow.
It wouldn't have been a
He's
bad
second.
guess.
Is it
Tommy
Scott?
Edman?
Tommy Edman is number 1. How many do you think he had since the start of the 2020 season? He played in 500 games.
What'd you say the number was for Goldie?
42.
42 is second on the
So
team.
45 for Edmund.
I'll go 55.
91. He had more
Jesus.
stolen bases than I think you would otherwise expect. But think about that. Basically, the Edman plus Goldie stolen base number is equivalent to what Randy Arozarena has done since the start of the 2020 season. That's excitement that this team lacks. He's had 20-plus home runs and 20-plus stolen bases every year since 2020. That's what this team is missing. And when you plop that into the outfield and you can just count on that kind of production every single season, it would have changed some things for them over the last few seasons.
Yeah, I mean, like to T-Bone's point of referencing 2022 and having Sandy Alcantara, and I agree, like you needed a top-level pitcher at that one, but I also look at the offense and think like, man, well, what they didn't have was one, somebody who could perform well in the postseason, but two, also, and by the way, Arozarena was bad in the postseason that year, so it doesn't make much for my argument here, but two, you were relying on Tyler O'Neill to be that guy, and I think at that point we all understood where it was, and look at the outfielders that they churned through, whether it was Tyler O'Neill and Dylan Carlson, Harrison Bader, who was fine for them, but he wasn't the guy that brought the lineup to the next level, and now you're in the same position with Jordan Walker and Alec Burleson and Ivan Herrera. Like, you needed a pitcher, and your minor league absolutely needs pitchers like Sandy Alcantara right now. But I also believe that we are not going to be spending the next 5 years talking about how they need a big bat who can play in the outfield if you would have had Randy Arozarena.
I still think you are, because I think Randy A, I think BK said, like, he kind of falls in with the home run numbers of, like, Burleson, Nootbaar. It's just more consistent, which, don't get me wrong, is important.
It's a huge deal.
It's a huge deal because the Cardinals have been looking for their outfield ever since I joined the radio industry back in 2021. But the reason that I said Alcantara over Arozarena, that's a dude. Like, that's a superstar when he was right. Now, and again, he may not end up being right again since he's had Tommy John surgery, so this could completely change. Same with, like, Zach Gallen. Gallen was a superstar and was an ace of a pitching staff.
But really only for 1 year, 1 or 2 years with Arizona.
Yeah, and Alcantara was more of the guy that was more consistent. But
But even for Sandy, it was really like 2 years that he had that.
Yeah, but he won the Cy.
Time.
Yeah, he won the Cy Young. But I look at that and I say that was a superstar. Randy Arozarena, though, yes, it would be nice to have a guy that was there 5 years consistently in your outfield. I always view Arozarena as a complementary piece. Now, he would have helped that 22 team for sure.
That's what I'm talking about.
But I look at that and I go, man, that 22 team needed more pitching than it needed offense because they had the superstars already. They needed the guy that was going to lead the rotation to guide them through October.
Yeah, I just look at, listen, we're nitpicking here. I would have loved to have had Sandy Alcantara.
At the beginning, they've had, like, I said this, they have like 5 guys that they,
no doubt,
missed on.
2019 would have been really nice to have Sandy Alcantara. He had a 3.80 ERA and 200 innings pitched. That's a really good starting pitcher. But it was about 10% above league average, which is, you want to talk about complementary pieces, it's kind of a complementary piece at that point. 2020, it's the COVID season, whatever. 2021, he was amazing. 2022, somehow even better. And then starting in 2023, he's been bad, basically, or injured each of the past 3 seasons. So we're really talking about that 2-year stretch from 2021 to 22. And that's why I would personally go with Randy Arozarena over Sandy Alcantara, just because since 2020, he's been the same dude every single season. And he's been the thing that this team lacks offensively in the outfield. So he plays the position that they're lacking. You don't have to move another infielder to the outfield to be able to go out there. And it's right-handed. Like it's the thump from the right side that they really severely lack right now. So Randy Arozarena would be my one that got away, but Sandy Alcantara's a good answer. Zach Gallen's a good answer. If you wanted to say Adolis Garcia, I think it's kind of similar, but to a lesser degree on the Sandy Alcantara conversation. He was really good for like a 2-year stretch. And other than that, he puts up big-time home run numbers every year, but it's kind of similar in some ways to the Nolan Gorman conversation, where, yeah, he's hitting a bunch of home runs. He adds more value defensively and with steals and whatnot, but that's kind of all he's doing. He doesn't hit for any average. He doesn't get on base. It's just slug, which is something that this team severely lacks. So maybe that would have been worthwhile. I would take Randy A over him, though. Is there anybody else that comes to mind?
I was just thinking of this, and I don't know if it's fair to put him in
Bryce
here
Harper.
since it's... Yeah.
Agreed.
Because
Max Scherzer.
He's been around 13 years, and I don't know if this is fair to assume he would have been a Cardinal for 13 years. Is Waka one of those? Like,
that's a really good one.
You've been looking for your Waka since Waka left, and they gave up on him because of injuries, which was fair at the time, I think.
I don't know if Waka becomes that here, though.
See, I think he does. Because
he was that here.
No, but I don't think he gets back to what he is now without going the places that he went.
He might have needed Tampa.
Yeah.
Yeah, this may be true.
I think some guys need to leave and get better coaching.
I look at him because he wasn't even good in Tampa. He had a 5.05 ERA in 23 starts in Tampa.
Some things there.
He talked about that too, didn't he? About the technology that they used in Tampa.
He talked about it. I just think that
because the next year he was very good. I think he carried that into the offseason, and then he got healthy and it was good.
When you look at Waka, maybe it was something that Tampa Bay did. But the fact that I didn't see the results in Tampa Bay makes me a little skeptical of it. Now, I think what it was, hey, they unlocked his mind into these different processes of, like, spin rate and, oh, look at this cool machine we have. I think the problem for Waka is Waka was never healthy. And I think that's what led to this kind of demise for Waka in the middle portion of his career. But that's why I throw him up here, because we keep talking about who's the last pitcher the Cardinals developed to be, like, the middle of the rotation as a 3 that's got decent swing and miss. The answer is Waka was kind of that guy for a little bit.
I still think Waka, too, was trying to live up to those expectations of those first couple of years, and it was just something that it was never going to get back to. I always feel like guys like that, it's hard to replicate what the expectation was.
I mean, he has been that, by the way.
Oh, absolutely. I just don't think he's doing it here.
Since the start of 22 when he went to Boston, he has been exactly what he was those first 3 seasons in St. Louis. The exact same pitcher. It's really been a hell of a career for Michael Waka. You look back at mean, the starters that they developed over that stretch of time, whether it be Jaime or Lance Lane or
Shelby
Michael
Miller.
Waka, Shelby, Marco Gonzalez, like all of those dudes that came up right around in that same stretch, like 2011 to 2014-ish, Waka became, I would say Lynn is probably number 1 on the list, Waka 2, in terms of the best starters that they developed over that stretch of time. He put together a hell of a career, and if he continues going on the same pathway that he has, he might be able to pass Lance Lynn, because they kind of had a similar weird middle portion of their careers, and Waka's been able to accumulate a heck of a lot of success over the last 4 years.
I've got one more that I don't think falls into this, but I'm curious both of your thoughts. Marcelo Zuna.
Man, yeah.
I mean, dude has hit 147 home runs for Atlanta in the 5 years. He's a right-handed bat. Now, he's not an
exactly
outfielder.
what they're missing.
Yeah, but the DH was implemented in what, 2020?
2020, yep.
Yeah.
I mean, you would have had
The
him as
timing
your...
couldn't have been better for Atlanta.
You would have had him as DH, and he would have been a guy who's hitting you 40 bombs a season.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good one because that's what they thought they traded for. That's what they thought they
It's
gave
just
about
you tried to
Contran
play him as
Gallen
an
for.
They were
outfielder.
right, but he was hurt.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
they were wrong about was the health. But they were right on the exact kind. They identified the talent. Unfortunately, the timing was all wrong for them. And the implementation of the DH, Alex, is a really good point. That changed everything. Because once the DH came to the National League, he was able to play what is, let's be honest, his real position at this point. But since then, 18 home runs in 60 games in 2020, and then 23 home runs in 125 games, 40, 39, and this year he's fallen off a little bit, but 20 home runs for them once again. It's really
The
unfortunate.
3-year
for the
window,
Cardinals.
though, that was the bat you needed.
No doubt about it. All right, he's Alex. That's T-Bone. I'm
Memory
BK.
lane's fun.
Questions and answers coming up next. Alongside Alex and T-Bone, I'm BK. It's BK and Ferrario here on 101 ESPN. 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line if you guys want to get your questions in. Let's go ahead and get this one in from the 573.
You doing okay, buddy?
What just happened? Did I just do that twice? I was reading something.
No. We're just laughing, because you and the graveyard are having a little bit of a moment.
Oh, I just
good?
think all of this is silly. I think all of it is very silly.
I don't mind an embrace if you need a hug.
You know the meme? I'm not mad. Don't ask me if I'm mad. I'm not mad.
Yeah, I do that to my wife a lot. I'm like, I'm not mad. Stop asking me.
It's going to sound like I'm mad when I say I'm not. I'm genuinely not mad. I think this whole thing is so silly. I think that, and I told Jamie this, you guys saw it, I talked about it with him off air. I think it's silly to tell fans how they should celebrate a win. I think that's silly. I think Mizzou fans were excited about the victory, and that's okay. They should have been. And also, yes, of course they need to do more. Yes, everybody. I have not seen a single Mizzou fan that is suggesting otherwise, that our season's over. It's all a success. Prabula for Heisman. Hand it over after 2 weeks. It's done. No, fans are excited, man. It's great. And so, I think that the reaction was a bit silly by Jamie. Also, it's his right to have the reaction, dude. That's what this entire format is based upon. Also, I think the whole, Mizzou fans' backlash against Jamie Rivers is crazy. It's silly to say that Mizzou should boycott 101 ESPN because one guy said a thing that you don't like. It wasn't as if he trashed the program and said they should shoot it into the sun. He said the reaction was silly for Mizzou. Anyways, so
we're moving on to questions and answers.
That's all it is. And so, there's a couple of people over in the YouTube chat that I think are taking this to the nth degree, and it didn't need to be, so we can move on now. All right, 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line for questions and answers. From the 618, can we just hit the panic button on Caleb yet? I still think that I still think somebody else could have been better with these weapons and offensive line. He almost won as a Jet. Oh, okay. I was like, what is he talking about? Justin Fields. It says JF. I didn't know who that was. Justin Fields. He thinks Justin Fields would have been better.
For
Alex,
Chicago than Caleb Williams?
On Caleb Williams.
I don't know if I call it panic. I'm just done with Caleb Williams. I think I could call him a bust. I mean, you're not going to live up to the hype of the first overall pick because, to me, the intangibles that you need when you get to the NFL is just the awareness of where you're at when danger comes. I don't think you can learn that the more you're in it. Now, I've never been a football quarterback, so I don't know what I'm talking about. But watching him roll out of danger and just heave a ball into an area where there's nobody around, or overshooting his guy who's right up the middle, wide open, or stepping out of bounds when you need to pick up yards, to me, that's awareness that you should have already had. So I don't know if that gets better. And yeah, I think I'm willing to look at this and saying I don't think the Bears are going to have any success. I feel bad for them because I think they got it wrong with the quarterback.
I'm not willing to give up on him yet. He's just got too much pure talent. I think you give this another full season with Ben Johnson and you go into next year and say, okay, next year is the year that we really need to see that step. You'd like to see some steps through this year. It's first year of learning a new offense with a new coach in Ben Johnson. That doesn't take away from the fact that, yeah, he had to be better last night. There were some open passes that he has to make in that game to help them seal the deal. And the weird play is stepping out of bounds that you bring up. But I'm worried about it not working out. I'm not ready to panic just yet.
That's where I'm at.
I think of the 6 quarterbacks that were taken in the first 10 picks, he's going to be the worst of all of them.
I don't know who was taken in that draft.
Daniels, May, Penix Jr., McCarthy. I think he's going to be the worst of all of them.
It's a bad opinion I just don't know. I think he was in such a terrible situation. No. Your opinion is totally fair, and it's your right to have it on the radio.
I'm going to fight you.
I'm not willing to go that far just yet. I want to see what this looks like this year with him and Ben Johnson. Yesterday, the first half was super encouraging, and then the second half was a disaster. It felt very Jordan Walker-y.
You mean when the game got tight?
No doubt.
It turned into a disaster?
And after the scripts, you got the first 15 plays that are scripted. You've worked on them all week long. Then you have to adjust to what the defense is doing. They adjust to what you're doing, and you now have to react. It's Jordan Walker. Walker comes up, has the success. Baseball adjusts to him. He has never once adjusted back to baseball. What does it look like when the rest of the league adjusts to you? So I want to see that. I want to see if he can have that adjustment. And if he can't, the spatial awareness thing is real. What Alex is saying, I totally agree with. I want to see what his adjustments look like. From the 314, guys, Bo Prabula is very clearly the Heisman frontrunner, right? Yes or yes?
Yeah, obviously he is. He's the best quarterback in the SEC.
Hasn't played anybody just yet, but when he does, I would agree with that. No, I don't think we're 2 weeks into the season, and nobody's jumped out at me yet. If I'm just being candid, I haven't not seen anybody that I watched, and I'm like, yeah, that guy is the guy that so far this year is clearly the best player in the country. Last year, early on, Travis Hunter, Ashton Genty, those guys jumped off the page. When Jaden Daniels was having his season, he jumped off the page. I haven't seen that yet. Somebody will emerge, but I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I agree with that. I couldn't pinpoint who I would view as a Heisman favorite right now. I mean, I've got some names in the back of my mind, but no one that is out there. Prabula, we'll see. Once he starts playing people, then we'll really.
Can we also just address, like, the first 2 weeks is not typically where Heismans are made? Like, once you get into a little bit more competitiveness and actual games that you're measuring yourself against?
Could have started some kind of a campaign, though, for one of those teams that played the big game in week 1.
Yeah.
If anybody had emerged,
Klubnik.
but nobody
March
did.
Manning.
Yeah, March
Nobody
Manning.
played overly
Nussmeier.
well in the Ohio State, Texas, or LSU Clemson games. Nobody. So when that happens, this is where we're at, and that's okay. It's week 2, man.
So
we
he's
got a
gonna
lot
win.
of college football.
Altmaier
Prabula.
for Heisman.
I'm putting all of the money on Prabula.
314-399-9646.
It's my opinion, and I can have it.
Air Comfort Service text line
welcome.
for questions and answers. From the Beer Cat Fan Club vice president, if the Cardinals took care of the Fetty issue after the first couple of weeks of the season, are they in a wild card spot right now? Honest to God, I was thinking about this yesterday because we had that conversation about them being 4.5 back. If they had released him, I don't know, 3 starts before they actually did, I really wonder where the Cardinals would be right now.
I don't think they would be. I think it would look good for spurts, but I think McGreevy would get exposed quicker than what we saw early on when he was up and down, and you still have no depth. I mean, McGreevy comes up, and yes, we're looking back on it and saying there's no injuries, but is that the same thing if Fetty's not there, McGreevy's up? I think they're probably in the same spot because they've been too inconsistent all season.
Yeah, I don't know because he gives you a better chance to win, but it's like maybe 2-1. So, like, how would we feel today if the Cardinals were 2 games back at the NL wild card compared to 4? Like, they still probably sell at the deadline.
So can I explain why I would feel a lot better about it?
Sure.
No, better is a relative term.
Air quotes.
It's his opinion.
There would only be one team between you and the playoffs. That, to me, is what changes. Right now, you have to jump, I think it's 3 other teams just to be the next team up. If you were 2 games back, you would be the team that is currently chasing the Mets. You'd be the closest team to them. So that's what would change for me.
Yeah.
Even that one team, though, is better than you without Fetty on the roster.
Talking about the Mets?
The Mets.
Yeah.
Totally
the Mets
agree.
have been terrible, but I agree.
I don't think that this is a playoff team. They do not have what is necessary to get in. But if they had released him a few starts earlier, rather, and you were 2 games out, I do think it would feel a little different for fans. And now you're, 3 games above 500 or whatever. I don't think anybody's believing in it, though.
No.
I don't think it changes
I'm not sure fans buy into it either.
No, I don't think they do.
I don't think that the stadium would look a whole lot different.
No.
I think
People are out on this roster. They're not out on this. I think people are just out on this roster. That's the easiest way to put it.
Yeah, I think the excitement of McGreevy because you saw him in spurts and he looked good, but then he would go back down and you wouldn't see him for a couple. That excitement would wane very fast if he was pitching every 5th day in the 2nd month of the season.
He's Alex, that's T-Bone, I'm BK. It's BK and Ferrario here on 101 ESPN. I'm fine. Don't ask me if I'm not fine. Coming up in 15 minutes, we'll do a game of Bet It or Forget It. But next, who were the most enjoyable teams to watch in the first week of the NFL season? There weren't a whole lot of good answers for this, but we'll talk about it next here on 101 ESPN. It is time to unlock your inner champion. The place to do so is with Victory Men's Health. They're my friends. They can be your friends over there as well. 4 great locations across the St. Louis area. I personally go to the one in Town and Country, but you can also go to O'Fallon, Illinois, O'Fallon, Missouri, and Sunset Hills. They are all state-of-the-art, and when you walk through the door, you're going to feel like you're talking with friends, and they can help you out with whatever it is that brought you in to unlock that inner champion, whether that is erectile dysfunction, low testosterone symptoms, weight loss goals that you're trying to meet. They also could tell you about their vitamin infusion programs, their supplement shop, red light therapy, cardiovascular testing. I also got the micronutrient labs over there. They can unlock your inner champion at Victory Men's Health. To do so, go ahead and check them out today. VictoryMen'sHealth.com. That's VictoryMen'sHealth.com. When you get to their website, top right corner of the page, click book now. Put in your name, email, phone number, tell them BK with 101 ESPN sent you, and then tell them what it means for you to unlock your inner champion today. It's all at Victory Men's Health and online at VictoryMen'sHealth.com. That's VictoryMen'sHealth.com. With Alex and T-Bone on BK, I went way too long on that last segment. Way too long.
Stop yelling at people.
I know. I got to be better. I do apologize to everybody involved. So who were the most enjoyable teams to watch for you in the first week of the NFL season? Alex,
Break it down next.
Oh, okay, coming up. All right, 12:15.
One of my favorite weekly columns in the NFL was the Red Zone Watchability Index. And you basically it was ranking when you see that team on your television, do you get excited? Because there are certain teams that I see them on my television, I'm like, why even put them on? Like Carolina, I'm good, man.
Like that Saints-Cardinals game?
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm good.
I don't need to see them. The Giants up until the point where they make the switch to Jackson Dart, I'm good. I appreciate Neighbors, but I'll see the highlights later on. I don't need to watch it.
This was a lot of fun.
I'm good, man. That is not for me. For you, Alex, who was the team that you watched this week and you thought to yourself, that's the most exciting team in the NFL right now?
Oh, it's got to be Buffalo. Yeah. Right? Like, I mean...
What if I took away Buffalo and
Baltimore? then the next one...
Well, aside.
I mean, you gave me the open field. The other one is the Packers. And I hate saying it because I don't like agreeing with you, but their offense, to me, still lacks a difference maker, and I know that they were awesome in that game against Detroit, but I still don't think they have the big-time threat for Jordan Love to be dangerous. But with Micah Parsons on that defense, to me, that's an all-around team that's well-rounded to have success this year. So they would be third on that list between Buffalo and Baltimore.
Is it crazy if I say Tampa Bay?
No, that was my team.
I enjoy watching the Buccaneers, and I don't know how good they really are.
Have you seen what Baker Mayfield did this week, by the way? Like the actual numbers on the stat sheet.
They weren't great, I don't think.
He threw for $167,
yeah, I was gonna say.
and he was their leading rusher with 39 yards.
Got me some good fantasy points, too.
But when I watch them, I'm totally in agreement with you, T-Bone. They're fun. There's something about their offense that is just really exciting to watch, and it's been this way now for, 3 years?
Yeah.
Since Baker took over there, he's had 3 different offensive coordinators because he keeps getting guys hired because every team seems to believe, man, Baker's not good. If you can win with him, you can win with our guy. They're one of my favorite teams to watch right now. I'm in total agreement.
And I think the thing that, because I think going into the week, I was kind of worried about them because of the Godwin injury. And I just didn't know what to expect from Ibuka. And now that I saw Ibuka, I'm like, man, that guy might be better than Godwin. Like, wow, they may have just replaced Godwin on their depth chart. Maybe not just specifically this year, but moving into the future to help keep him there. Bucky Irving's fun at the running back spot. And I'd also say this. I think they're higher on the list than many people would expect. I think the Falcons fall higher on the list, too. Penix was fun this weekend.
Yeah.
And, he had Drake London involved. They've got Robinson that's fun to watch. Penix was running around. Pitts got involved. He didn't look like his fantasy bust that he typically is. I think the Buccaneers and Falcons were pretty high on my list for the top teams to watch this weekend.
I'll throw one other team in here. I've said this before. I don't know how good they're going to be. I think the Raiders are going to be hugely watchable this year. Geno Smith is a fun quarterback because that guy will rifle a throw into any situation. He is completely unafraid. Now, it's going to get him into trouble. And this is part of the reason why I think that they're going to fail to live up to some of the more lofty expectations for them. But Ashton Genty, did you guys see the touchdown run that he had this week? He barreled through roughly 4 defenders. And then they just have so many weapons. Brock Bowers, Jacoby Myers, their backup tight end, Michael Mayers, was really good this week as well. Ashton Genty in the running game, that's a very watchable offense as well. Kind of in the Tampa category of maybe not the best team in the world, but fun to watch offensively.
Chargers at least piqued my interest. I don't know what it's going to look like after week 1, but Chargers piqued my interest. Watching Justin Herbert be able to throw and run. Quentin Johnston was not good last year for me, and then now all of a sudden he looks like they've got some fun weapons that I think will be at least entertaining.
Quick question from the text line from the 314. Does Tanner do the voice from Marge Simpson? Continuing along here. So
what?
Part of my...
That one's not as funny as our Squidward one that we discovered.
Yeah, that's true. My follow-up question to this, Alex, is this conversation why people hate the Chiefs now?
Yeah.
And why people continue to doubt the Chiefs now? Because they're not fun to watch. I say this as a Chiefs fan. They're not an enjoyable team to watch anymore. They haven't been really for 2+ years. Last year, they weren't the entirety of the season, and I think it's partially why people kept saying, they're going to lose, they're going to lose, they're going to lose. And then finally, they got their asses handed to them in the Super Bowl by the Eagles. Is that part of it? Because people keep saying the Ravens are the best team in the league, and I have no evidence of that other than the fun stuff that they do during the regular season. But every postseason, we see them do what they did in week 1 when they go up against the best teams in the league. Is the Chiefs' lack of an explosive element offensively and their inability to keep you engaged as a fan of just watching the TV and be like, this is enjoyable. This is how I feel watching the Bills, the Ravens, the Bucks, the Raiders, whoever. Is that part of it?
Yeah, they lack that highlight reel guy. And I know Patrick Mahomes is that highlight reel guy, but he's the highlight reel guy when he throws. He's not Josh Allen, who can be a highlight reel himself just with his legs on the ground.
The ironic part is he was that this week.
Yeah, I don't know if boring's the right word, but it's just expected with them. They're competitive because Patrick Mahomes finds a way, but you just don't have that guy that you're glued to see what comes next anymore because Kelsey's a lot older, so you don't see him the way he was. You don't have a Tyreek Hill. I think this changes when Rashee Rice comes back. Last year, before Rice got injured, Rice was that guy where it was oh my gosh, where did this come from? Rice and Worthy can be those highlight reels with Mahomes' talent, but right now, they're boring. I don't want to see you throw to Hollywood Brown, as you talked in the office, 17 times.
16 targets for 99 yards, including a 50-yard catch. So think about that. His other 15 targets went for 50 yards.
Yeah, and then
3.5 yards per attempt when targeting Hollywood Brown.
And then it's
Not
like
great.
you got Kelsey, who is out there very rarely because of his age, and then you're throwing to Noah Gray and Juju Smith-Schuster. Like, I'm good.
That being said, though, couldn't I make the same argument about the Ravens outside of the running back and the Bills outside of the running back? Like, who's the Bills weapon that you're like, man, got to lock in to see, I don't know, Khalil Shakir?
I mean, it's the freak Josh Allen, just like the Ravens. It's the freak Derrick Henry. Like, I get to watch Derrick Henry just bulldoze his way through
that
people.
guy, though.
Yeah,
He was the guy that you turn on the TV and you'd be like, I want to see that guy do something I've never seen done before. And on Friday, to be fair to him, he did a lot of that stuff. Like, he was perpendicular to, or parallel, I suppose, to the ground, and
T-Bone doesn't know. It doesn't
was
matter.
like
Felt wrong,
making
though.
these ridiculous passes.
yeah. I just look at them and I go, because now the way that they play,
To be clear, I'm not disagreeing with Alex. I'm saying, like, it's a weird thing that I'm having to work through as well. I don't understand why it feels this way, and I'm wondering if Mahomes has been passed by Josh Allen as just like a more fun and exciting and maybe even better quarterback right now.
I think he has, and I think it's the same with Lamar as well in terms of the more fun, exciting quarterback to watch. Because when I watch Patrick Mahomes, I watch a quarterback that does all the little things right, and he can make the explosive play when it's needed. I'm not denying that. But I watch him cover two high safeties, dink it to my running back on the check down, dink it to my Hollywood Brown who ran a 3-yard route for a potential play. I don't see the two high safeties. Oh, yeah, watch this. Okay, I'm going to go throw this up for my guy. I'm going to get out of the pocket. I'm going to throw this crazy throw, and it's almost high risk, high reward. And I see that from Josh Allen. I see that from Lamar Jackson. And that's not to take away that Mahomes doesn't do it, because it's actually probably smarter not to do it, because then you avoid the big turnover that can cost you in games, as we've seen those two quarterbacks do in the past. But it's just not exciting, right? Doing the right things isn't exciting. I want a little riskiness in my life.
I do wonder if it's also coming, like, a little riskiness can also be good for a team. At times it goes poorly, right? We've seen this with Josh Allen, with Lamar Jackson,
Seen it
in
with the
playoffs,
Detroit Lions.
no doubt. But there is a point in time where you need some of that. And I think the Chiefs have become almost too risk-averse at times. And this is just three of us here talking.
Yeah.
I do wonder if Andy's offense is part of the problem. Andy is still one of the top 5 coaches in the NFL right now. I'd take him over just about anybody, probably anybody other than Sean McVay. The offense is becoming a concern for me. It shouldn't look this bad. It shouldn't. It should not be this hard for them to move the football with the best quarterback that I've ever seen and weapons that, while not great, I'm watching the Ravens do this, man, and other than Derrick Henry, I'm not scared of any of their weapons. Not a one of them. Zay Flowers is not all that dissimilar from what the Chiefs used to have last year with Xavier Worthy, and the Chiefs were not as good offensively last year as the Ravens were. The Bills, like, who's the weapon that scares you there? Keon Coleman?
Yeah.
Not really.
I mean, sure, I guess.
To be fair, though, I mean, that Ravens game, and I know Flowers was good in that game for them, but the two people that I was talking about most in that game was the quarterback and the running back, which are both built as freaks. And I don't think Kelsey used to be this with the Chiefs.
No doubt.
And Hill was this guy with the Chiefs. That's why I think they'll be a little bit more exciting when they get Rashee Rice back, because you actually have somebody who's a difference maker. I just think with even before the injury to Xavier Worthy, like Worthy's just that speed factor. You know, you don't have that guy that Mahomes can get creative with downfield. And in Allen's defense, he doesn't need that guy because he could just do it with his legs.
He can, but he threw for 395.
Yeah. I think Baltimore's the one that I would circle to your point of I don't know why Kansas City can't do that.
It's really weird.
Because Baltimore, like, I like Zay Flowers, and I think he's better than what the Chiefs have right now with their pieces when they're dealing with injury.
Agreed.
But Buffalo's the one that I have a tough time to where I get what you're saying of, but this is weird how they can't move the football.
He's T-Bone. That's Alex. I'm
Better
BK.
quarterback.
I'm going to go do some more introspection about what is going wrong with the Chiefs right now. But coming up next, let's play a game of Bet It or Forget It. 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line here on BK and Ferrario.
Ooh, hoo, hoo, hoo.
314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line for Bet It or Forget It. You guys give us a scenario. We will tell you if we are betting it or forgetting it here on BK and Ferrario. Alex, bet it or forget it. Neither Nolan Arenado nor Sonny Gray will be on the Cardinals next year.
I'm going to say forget it. I don't think anybody is going to take Nolan Arenado. The injury on top of the inability to improve this season, I think the team showed their cards this past offseason that wanted him. He said no, and I don't think they're coming back to that well. So Arenado's going to be here until the contract runs out, unless the Cardinals buy him out, which I don't believe.
Yeah, I think I would forget this as well because I think Gray will be gone. I think they will make that move. I just have a tough time on Arenado because my gut tells me, and I think this is on both sides. One, I don't think ownership's going to want to eat as much money as it's probably going to require to make a deal happen. And two, I don't know if Arenado's going to expand his no-trade list because that was the big thing that really hampered them this past offseason and at the trade deadline, on top of the matter that he's just not performing. So I think he'll be back. So I would forget this. I think it's just Sonny Gray that's gone. I think Arenado will be here.
I think that both will be back next year. That's my fear.
Oh, man, what a season
I'm
it's
going
going
to
to be.
this as well.
What a season it's going to be.
They could at least use Sonny Gray.
I think they should keep Sonny Gray. I don't really see any incentive to trade him.
Yeah, they have nothing else in their team, so you need somebody to pitch.
If you're going to have to potentially pay down, I don't know, $15 million from his salary, and then you're going to have to replace him with somebody externally that's going to cost you roughly $10 million. So I'm paying $25 million to singe Sonny Gray away and to fill his spot in my rotation with somebody who is almost certainly going to be worse than Sonny Gray. Why not just keep Sonny Gray?
Because you got to be bad to get a better pick. So keep Michaelis, move on from Gray.
Touche.
It's the better way to go with this one. Both can start. And that's
Alex,
all you
what do
need.
you got for us
Guys,
today?
bet it or forget it. Mizzou loses the first game before Illinois.
Bet it.
Let me check Illinois' schedule real quick.
So Illinois' got
Michigan this week.
Yeah, well, we're both looking at wins. Mizzou's got South Carolina. Illinois' got Indiana.
I'm going to forget it. I think Mizzou beats South Carolina and Illinois loses on the road at
Illinois
Indiana.
on the road in Indiana.
It's going to be
That
another
Kansas
week
game
where we're
didn't
going
matter.
back and forth.
I changed my mind. You know what? Prove it, Mizzou.
Hey, it's his opinion.
You're banned. I would say forget this. I think Illinois is going to be the one that is the last to lose because I don't think they lose till that Ohio State game. But I think they will beat Indiana on the road.
Which, by the way, is the same time Mizzou takes on Alabama.
I don't think that's Mizzou's hardest game on the schedule this year anymore.
Alabama? Mm-hmm. No, I'm just saying, like, if you look at how they line up as who's going to lose.
Who do they've got after South Carolina?
That's UMass.
Oh, yeah, the one that.
Yeah, Mizzou does the
And
like.
then they got their like
big
week
game,
off.
Not big game. Big game, not big game.
Yeah.
They have a week
Early.
off after UMass, the ultimate high, and then you wait for Alabama.
I don't know if they will lose the game, but I think South Carolina is a very losable game, and I feel better about Illinois at Indiana than I do Mizzou against South Carolina.
Can I
That's
give
why
you
I would say
a
this.
hot take? At Auburn,
Thought we
tougher
already
game
did
for
that.
Mizzou than Alabama. Alabama at home will be a more likely victory for Missouri than Auburn on the road.
I don't know if that's that hot of a take.
I think it's a little spicy.
I don't think it's that hot.
Yeah, 'cause, like,
I was not impressed by
I get
Alabama.
how he got there. I don't know if I'm there yet.
I trust a team like Mizzou at home against an average Alabama team
How about
versus on the
this?
road.
It is cheaper for you as a fan to go to the Auburn game on the road than it is for you to see Missouri versus
I believe
UMass
that.
at home.
Yeah, I believe that.
Oh, UMass. No,
Yeah.
that I don't believe.
UMass.
It would actually be cheaper for you to get a hotel to go watch Auburn on the road and to get your ticket
Wow.
than it is to go see Missouri take on Alabama at home.
People need to stop over
For just a ticket and then drive home after.
People need to stop over exaggerating their excitement about Mizzou. Who cares about the UMass one paying all
UMass are
that
the
money?
worst.
Team needs to just chill before they do something.
T-Bone, what do you got?
Field's not even that great shape. They're doing construction.
T-Bone, go.
Guys,
T-Bone, say it!
Bet it or forget it. Liam Doyle will be with the St. Louis Cardinals this time next year.
Oh, I like that. Bet it. I think he will get here by August 1st of next year.
I'm going to forget it for how they treated Quinn Matthews this year. I can't see how they're going to want to do that with Liam Doyle next year.
For those that missed it, by the way, the reason that T-Bone, I would imagine, is asking this question, he was just promoted to Double-A to be a part of their playoff push with Springfield. He skipped high A ball.
Yeah,
That always works out for Cardinals pitchers.
I would forget
His
this.
SEC play was basically high A to Double-A anyway, so
Yeah,
I stand
like
by
this move.
what I said.
I like
it
this move.
always works out for Cardinals pitchers.
I would forget this. I think they're going to slow play him and give him a year in the minors. I think they're going to see.
I think it's going to be Springfield and Memphis next year.
Yeah, and at some point, like part of the reason Quinn Matthews isn't here is because Quinn Matthews didn't pitch well this year. Like, let's just be honest about what happened to Quinn Matthews. I could see like where they say, okay, let's do AA. Let's see how this looks for about 2 to 3 months. Okay, now let's go to AAA and let's see if there are struggles a part of the way. Also, I think he's going to have probably some kind of limitations next year in terms of like probably like max out 150 innings would be my guess. Do that in AAA and AA next year, and then be ready to potentially go like 180 by the time you're ready to be a big leaguer.
John scores on our YouTube graveyard chat. What time's the parade after the UMass game?
Oh, that's a good question, John.
Tearing down the goalposts the moment they win that one.
Oh, dude, if they beat Louisiana this weekend,
they should rush
tear down the goalpost, rush the field, tear down the goalpost, take him to Harpo's. I'll meet you there.
Is that worth the fine, though? I don't think it is.
I'll go streaking. Saturday, I'll be in Burlington, Vermont.
Nobody wants that pain.
I'll go streaking down the quad in Burlington.
Damn, that should have been a punishment for somebody. Had to go streaking.
Yeah, public
nudity.
That would definitely
You can go streaking in like booty shorts.
We should make them do a nude. What do they call it? Nude painting session where you're up there nude and posing.
Oh my god,
that would be funny. We could do. They also have the naked bike rides or whatever. The naked runs that they have in town.
Oh my gosh, that's gonna have to be
really
next year. Don't we need one more punishment?
You have to wear whitey tighties, exclusively whitey tighties for the run. That would be amazing.
I don't think I could go nude anywhere.
Yeah, you can do the whitey tighties.
Yeah,
you can do a thong.
That doesn't really embarrass me that much. The nude, I don't think I could do.
I would like to add this in.
Can we add it in? Too.
Yeah.
All right, 314-399.
I don't want to see anybody in a thong, though. Come on, man.
I'll get a one-on-one ESPN.
Can we just do like Daisy Duke shorts or something?
Better to forget it. JJ Weatherholt will win Rookie of the Year next year. I say bet it. Why not?
Yeah, bet it. We need some type of excitement.
Great.
All right,
just like Snuggerud's going to win Rookie of the Year, too. 2 Rookie of the Years in one season.
Cold Meatloaf said BK doesn't care about the fines. He'll rush for rushing the field. He'll go ahead and cover him for you guys.
That's true. BK is made of money.
I would forget this on Weatherholt. I just don't know if he's going to do the big, sexy things he needs to do to win Rookie of the Year. Like Snuggerud, I could see, right? He's got the shot, could be a goal scorer that could climb up there. Weatherholt feels like, 20 homers, 20 doubles, and that might be good enough, but there could be a rookie that comes up and has a better slash line that wins it.
All right. 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line. From the 314, better to forget it, the future of the outfield is a bigger problem for the Cardinals than the future of the starting pitching staff. Forget it. I would definitely go with the rotation still.
Yeah, because if Herrera is an outfielder and Burleson's an outfielder for you, I actually feel pretty good about that. Pitching is god-awful right now.
I would forget. The lifeblood of a baseball team is not what their outfield does. It's what their rotation does, and that is a major problem for them.
It's also easier to find an outfielder than
100%
starting pitching. That
could cost you, what, $20 to $30 million if you needed 2 outfielders, for example, like in the corners, because you can have a defense-first center fielder. If you need like 4 starters like the Cardinals do, we're talking like $60 million maybe to fill that.
All right, last one here. Better to forget it. If Notre Dame loses this weekend to Texas A&M, they would have to run the table just to get into the college football playoff. I have not looked at their
kind of easy
schedule the rest of the way to see what kind of resume they would have at that point in time. But if you lose your first 2 games of the season, yeah, you'd have to run the table because if you get to that 3rd loss, you're probably eliminated.
Yeah, I'd agree with that one.
Yeah, they don't have another opportunity for a big win.
Yeah.
No.
So
just Boise State doesn't look that good anymore.
Yeah.
Their road games.
USC's
Stanford.
fine. USC could be a top 25 win, but personally, I don't view them currently as a playoff contender. So yeah, this is as much of a must-win game as any team will have this week, and it's also the best game potentially on the slate.
Yeah, I would bet
should be a fun one.
I bet this as well.
Can I give you another better forget real quick because this kind of sparked my interest. Oh, really? Sure. Okay. Better forget it. We will see a 3-loss team in the college football playoff this year.
We might as a conference winner from the Big 12.
See, I was thinking we could see a 3-loss SEC team. For how deep that conference is, I could see that happening. Because Alabama's 3 losses and missed.
Last year was basically 2 losses or bust.
Yeah.
2 losses you're in, 3 losses you're out.
Were the ones that kind of stole it. I think you could see a 3-loss SEC team sneak in this
Clemson
year.
got in.
They were 3 losses last year? Man, Dabo, what the?
Yeah, Clemson got in.
Hit the portal, right?
No, he doesn't.
So, yeah, I'll say bet it. I think we get 1 or 2 3-loss teams, but I think it could be a conference winner
Can't spell family
that
without
gets to the 3
Clemson.
losses and gets in. Coming up in about 15 minutes, we're going to dive into the junk drawer. But next, do the Cardinals have anybody in their system that could be their version of Bryan Woo? We'll talk about this next year on 101 ESPN.
Tanner Hendrickson here with a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Cardinals fell to the Mariners last night 4-2. They'll be back in action tonight. Game 2 of their 3-game set in Seattle. 8:40 will be first pitch. Matthew Liberatore will be on the mound for the Cardinals. George Kirby will get the start for the Mariners. The Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. CMalondoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Alongside Alex and T-Bone on BK. So, Alex, yesterday, the Cardinals went up against Bryan Woo, who has become one hell of a starter for the Seattle Mariners. I remember a couple of years ago, we were talking about, hey, Cardinals need a starter. Seattle has a bunch of them. Maybe the Cardinals could trade for one of their guys. You liked Logan Gilbert at the time.
Still
We
like
talked
Logan
about
Gilbert.
Bryan Woo. Well, since then, he's been one of the best pitchers in baseball. 13th in ERA among starters to throw at least 200 innings since the start of last year. Alex, Bryan Woo was a 6th-round draft pick in 2021. 4 years later, he's considered to be, top 20, top 30 starter in Major League Baseball. He reached the big leagues by 2023, 2 years after he was drafted, and became a stud the year later. So 3 years after he was drafted, stud as a 6th-round pick. That almost never happens. You think about the last time that the Cardinals had this, I don't know. I'm curious if Cardinals fans have somebody that immediately comes to mind. A 5th round or later starter that came up and became a really good starter for the Cardinals. It's been a while, if nothing else. Do you have any hope that Quinn Matthews could be some version of what Bryan Woo has been for the Mariners, Alex? Because he was a 4th or 5th round pick. And he kind of flew through the system, and this year it was a step back for him. But he's starting to perform well again. The velocity is back up. Over his last couple of starts, it's averaged about 94 miles per hour. If I'm an optimistic Cardinals fan, this would probably be the pitcher that I would point to and say, hey, they did it with him. Could the Cardinals do this with Quinn Matthews? I think he's really your only current option in the minor league system that appears to be some version of this.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm being honest, I don't have a lot of hope because the Cardinals have not had success with this. But if there was one guy, I think it has to be Quinn Matthews. The hope has waned for Tim Kentz. It's not there anymore like it once was. Now you're seeing...
And he was a top 75 pick, I think.
I mean, all of these guys that the Cardinals are drafting in terms of highly touted players, in terms of pitchers, have been first-round picks. Like, they just... There's not guys that have buzz around them that are drafted later in the draft. And plus, the Cardinals just don't have success in this sense of finding deep cuts in terms of their draft picks that turn out to be successful. Quinn Matthews would be it. But even that, I mean, 4th round versus 6th round, at least there's still some high expectations for a 4th rounder. But Quinn Matthews might be it.
Yeah, I think it's basically up to Quinn Matthews. And maybe someone surprises and comes out of the woodworks that we're not expecting. Like, they had a couple of interesting arms they drafted in the mid-rounds this past year. But, yeah, I mean, this is the kind of thing that you have to hit on when you look at some of these organizations. Like, you look at Milwaukee and how they hit on Mizorowski as one of these guys where they draft him and, like, nobody talks about it. You don't talk about it until all of a sudden you see this guy come up and pitch, and you're like, wow, that guy looks awesome. Where'd they, like, pick him 20th overall? 6th round? Holy cow, we don't do that ever. Like, these are the kind of things that you need to hit on. Yes, you have to hit on your first-round picks, right? You cannot miss on those. You also got to find the diamonds in the rough. And when you ask the question of, like, who was the last Cardinal that they did this with, I can't even think of one because most of the names that come to mind were all first-round picks or comp picks.
Palante is probably the closest thing to this. He was a 4th-round pick. Gordon Graceffo was a 5th-round pick, and there was a certain point in time where there was some hope for him, but I think he's a reliever at this point. So at least in terms of the last 5 to 7 years, those are the only guys that come to mind for me.
Yeah, and, like, I don't know how much of a success story Palante is. I'm talking like a guy that comes up and, like, swing and miss is going to be here for a couple of years, and we're talking about Palante pitching for his job here in the final, whatever it is, 18 games of the season. So they still haven't really hit on those guys.
Yeah, it's position players that they hit on later.
Yeah.
They've been really good at that. Like, their version of Bryan Woo on the position player side of things, they've had some of those. Ryan Helsley was a 5th-round pick, but that's a closer, not a consistent starter for you. I'm back now a decade, and I have not seen anybody that would necessarily fit into this criteria. Austin Gomber was a 4th-round pick. He has become a major league starter, but I wouldn't consider him to be anywhere close to what they have with Bryan Woo. This is how you there are a few different ways that you can go about igniting or revamping this retool, getting it going quicker, right? And one of the biggest thing is probably like getting a surprise. A surprise changes a lot because you need Liam Doyle to be a good starter. You need J.J. Weatherholtz to become an impact player immediately upon his arrival at the big league levels. Those are not options. This has to happen. This is a certainty for us. And then we get to the place where we can add to that core nucleus of talent. And for the Cardinals, they have really struggled in that regard on the pitching side of things. And that needs to change. That needs to be the thing that they improved. If I have one guy that I could throw out here as another candidate of quote-unquote surprise, Ishan Henderson is going through the system right now. He's been very good for them at the AA level, I believe it is. He was an 8th-round draft pick a couple of years ago. Maybe that's the kind of thing that they could hit on. If he becomes a solid 3 or 4 starter for an 8th-round pick, that's a great outcome for him. So he would be another guy that is currently in the system that maybe could fit the criteria that we're discussing right here.
Would you count Tanner Franklin as this a 3rd-round pick as well? Okay.
I think top 3 rounds, that's where you're expecting guys to get to the big league level and having a decent impact. Anything below that is where I think you start kind of throwing darts at the board.
I don't have another one.
Guys want to play the game of who was drafted before Bryan Woo?
Oh, God. Go ahead.
Michael McGreevy. Okay. Ryan Holgate.
Wait, is this Cardinals or like...
This is Cardinals.
I've never heard of that name.
Ryan Holgate, an outfielder that is now playing independent ball. Joshua Baez.
He's been good lately.
Gordon Graceffo.
I've still got some hope for him.
What about Graceffo? I'm losing hope.
You still holding out hope for that one?
I've lost hope on that one.
And they did not have a 4th-round pick. And then Bryan Woo was selected 174th overall.
Trevor Rosenthal was a 21st-round pick.
It was like a decade ago, over a decade
We got there.
I'm in 2009 looking for somebody that has been a 5th-round pick or later that became a really solid, capable plus starter in the middle or better of the rotation.
I think you might have to go to the 90s.
I mean,
Were they drafting in the 90s?
I think they were always drafting.
They've always had a Major League Baseball.
That was when it had like...
always. I don't think they always did.
That was when it had like 40 rounds.
2007. We can go through this together if you guys really want to make some compelling radio here. Daniel Descalso was a 3rd-round draft selection in 2007.
Panned out.
I can't believe he was a 3rd-round pick.
2006, we're 20 years ago now. Alan Craig in the 8th round.
There you go. Minus the plantar fasciitis.
Tommy Pham in the 16th round. Luke Gregerson in the 28th round.
He was a hit, just not for the Cardinals.
Nice little dart
Didn't
throw
they
there.
re-sign him and then he was... Or am I thinking of another old reliever?
No, you're thinking of...
Mitchell Boggs, 5th round of 2005.
I know who you're thinking of.
They've had a lot of good relievers that came out of the 5th to 10th round.
It was Gregerson.
Yeah, they
traded him to San Diego, and then they brought him back.
Signed him like a decade later. He never pitched.
He got hurt. Yeah,
he was terrible, too.
Right.
10 earned runs in 12 innings, 5 earned runs in 5 innings.
That was in
that era of the Cardinals signing bullpen arms that just weren't good. You know, Andrew Miller, Brett Cecil. Didn't really pan out.
Man, even when the Cardinals were good at developing pitching.
Nobody in the...
Yeah, because they would go out there and
Anthony Reyes. Anthony Reyes is the answer. 15th round of 2003.
I was in diapers when that happened.
They drafted Max Scherzer in the 43rd round.
Wait, you didn't say Jaime Garcia.
What round was he in?
22nd.
Oh, well, he must have been too low. There you go. That's the answer.
2005.
Jaime Garcia. We did it. We found him.
We got there, boys.
There you go. That's
he
the
couldn't
answer.
pitch because he had the flu, but...
Brad Thompson, 16th round of 2002. I'm not kidding. That's one of their biggest success stories. And I'm not just saying that because BT's on with us each and every Friday, but it's one of the biggest success stories outside of the top 5 rounds that they've had in the last 25 years when it comes to their pitching. They've got to get better at this. They've got to get better at not just the top guys. They've got to find and develop talent that surprises you. And when they start doing that, that's when you can do what the Mariners have done. Because they had a couple of guys that they knew were going to be good prospects for them and their pitching staff, and then they supplemented it with a surprise that came through their system. All right, coming up in about 10 minutes, Jeremy Rutherford joins us in studio, but next, Junk Drawer here on 101 ESPN. Alongside Alex and T-Bone, I'm BK. It's BK and Ferrario here on 101 ESPN. Let's go ahead and dive into the junk drawer. Alex, here's my question for you. If you could spend a day watching college football in any campus in America, which one would you choose? I'm going to Mizzou in a couple of weeks. I was thinking about maybe considering going to Illinois' game against USC as well.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see.
Look good in orange.
What's a campus that you would most want to see?
Other
An
than
environment
Lindenwood?
that you'd most want to see. Hey man, come on out. You can stay at our place.
No,
we got a free place to stay.
Absolutely
Good.
not.
Good. I don't want to drive back 30 minutes after going to a game.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't want to drive down Highway 270 to get home.
Oh man, I get an Uber. Come on over.
Yeah. Oh, man.
It's a long Uber. Could be like $20.
I'm trying to think of places that I'd want to go. Like, I think Michigan in the fall would be really fun if I could, be up there for an entire day.
Columbus sucks. I've been there.
Yeah,
Mine's
no.
LSU.
That's a good one.
I would
Orleans,
love to go
yeah.
to Baton Rouge and be there for a night game in Baton Rouge.
Like Bama.
You've got you've got the tailgating going on all day long. I
think Miami
that is
would be fun.
number one on my list.
I think Miami would be fun. Oregon would be really fun. As BK would Vermont in the fall. Oregon in the fall would be
Are you
fun.
going to a Vermont FCS game while you're up there?
Oh, that's a good question. I wonder if there's any college football up there.
There's
this
got to
weekend.
be. I know
No,
there's
he's too busy in Burlington.
Who's the big Vermont college football?
I think Vermont. Vermont University.
Yeah, I was going to say, is there a Vermont Tech? That's probably another one.
The University of Vermont.
I don't know if they've got football, though.
They do.
Oh, tell me they're at home.
Oh, baby.
Oh, no, this is men's soccer that I just pulled up.
Well, you can go see a
I'm
men's
not
soccer
sure that they're
game.
playing football this year. It might be.
Poor Vermont. Well, they're too busy looking at the sights of Vermont in the fall to play football, you know?
I'm trying to think which one I would want to go to. I love the LSU answer, but I'm trying to think of something different. I don't know if I want
But
to
it's
go to
got to be
Alabama.
a place that you don't want to go out and do other things because you just said you got to be doing college football all day.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know if
Bama,
LSU would be it.
I
I'd
would
rather
think-
be sightseeing in New Orleans.
Baton Rouge.
It's the same thing.
No, I don't think so. I
close
think
enough.
it's different. I
They're
think New
close
Orleans is home
it's like
of.
Columbia being the same thing as
close enough.
St. Louis.
Louis.
It's close enough.
I mean, they're in the same state.
You know one that I've heard that is good?
Calgary, Canada, right?
Like
is
2
Penn
hours
State.
apart.
Up in the mountains.
It's close enough.
Penn State would be cool.
Yeah, I think Penn State would be my answer
Happy
because my
Valley.
uncle went there for a game. Now he saw him play,
Whiteout?
Yeah, in a night game versus Michigan or Ohio State. Penn State would be the one for me.
Yeah, I think LSU would be one. I'd like to go to Notre Dame just because, South Bend, whole thing. Ohio State, I agree, Alex. That would be a great one. The Big House would be amazing. There's a lot of SEC program. If you've never been to a game at Tennessee, I highly recommend it. Knoxville's awesome. The town is great. It's right on the river. Seeing the boats pull up is really cool. And the Neyland's it's massive, dude. I love going to Mizzou. When I went to Neyland, I understood what people meant when they said it doesn't feel like an SEC stadium. And I'm not saying this as any disrespect to Mizzou. I think it's a really fun environment. But that's different. The way that it just continuously pours in with people. You feel as though there's no way it could possibly hold anybody else. It's cavernous. It's awesome.
Austin would be
Neyland
fun.
Stadium. Also, would be a cool place.
Longhorns, get some Texas
That's
barbecue
the
on.
thing is there's so
drinking
much.
some
That's
beer.
what Alex is looking for. I think Alex is looking for a school that is in a city
Yeah.
instead of a school that is in a college town.
Yeah.
And those are very different situations.
Yeah. I've been to
When
Austin.
was the last
before.
time you went to a Mizzou game?
I've never been to a Mizzou
You've
game.
never been to a Mizzou game?
I've never been to a college football game other than Lindenwood.
Really?
Oh, that's the only experience you'll ever need.
Oh,
That's true.
dude.
Yeah. I experienced D2
Rawr.
MIAA football.
Well,
Sorry,
there's
you
been
need
some
a better
criticism of
experience.
our station for its
Yeah,
coverage of Mizzou.
I'm not
recently.
allowed to go.
Yeah.
We've got to
Go to Illinois.
convince our management to send us to one of these Mizzou games this year. If they're really good the rest of the year, I'm going to cover the South Carolina game. We've got to go for either
Problem is they have games every Saturday, which checks schedule. Blues play every Saturday.
We'll figure it out, but I'm talking on a Friday. We'll go out there, do our show from campus on a Friday. That's what Feinbaum did last week.
It's dangerous.
October 10th against Alabama. November 7th for that Texas A&M weekend. One of those two we've got to be there for. If you've never
I'm
been,
in,
we got to
yeah.
go, and we'll get somebody to cover your shift for that Saturday
you
Blues game.
can do pregame.
Yeah,
from,
I did it in
Columbia.
Alton, right? We pulled it
Yeah.
off in Alton.
We'll figure this out. We have got to get you to a Mizzou game this year.
I've only been to that Lindenwood football.
Let's take you to a real football team first. Let's go to Illinois.
I'd rather go to Mizzou.
Coming
Let's go
up
to
next.
Illinois, Ohio
I'd like to
State.
see an SEC game.
Speaking of the Blues, we're going to talk a little Blues with Jeremy Rutherford, Blues insider for The Athletic. He's going to join us in studio next year on 101 ESPN.
Alex Ferrario with you to talk about my friends out at Classic Air Care who are here to take care of your HVAC system, your furnace, and at this time of the year where it's not getting as much work, but then, it's going to be 90-something degrees again. This is where that unit, if it's an older one, it might break down. It might need a tune-up, and this is when this is the ideal time to check in on those maintenance deals that Classic Air Care has. They've been making people comfortable since 1926. I've been using them since 2016 when I purchased my first home, 2020, the house we live in now. All of it has been taken care of Classic Air Care. Right now they have something called a super tune-up where you get your AC and your furnace, both maintenance checks for $149 in the month of September. And if you're looking to keep your unit lasting as long as possible, the maintenance comes into play. Also, they have a filter subscription, which most people don't even know that you need to change your air filter on your HVAC system. They've got that at Classic Air Care for you. If you're looking to purchase a new unit, they've got financing, whatever you need. Classic Air Care is here to take care of your HVAC system. Call today or schedule online. Just tell them Alex Ferrario sent you at Classic Air Care and ClassicAirCare.com.
Alongside Alex and T-Bone, I'm BK. Happy to be joined in studio by the one and only Jeremy Rutherford. Well, only a couple of weeks away, JR.
Doesn't he look like he's in hockey shape?
He's ready to go.
You look like you're ready to go.
Walking the streets of New York City the past couple of days, I don't feel like
I noticed your calf muscles when you walked in.
How about that? Look at that.
Yeah. You always
Do you
check
notice
out
mine?
You always wear pants, man. You always check out a guy's
reason
calf
for that.
muscles.
Alex, if you had to guess, who's the runner, me or BK?
You, absolutely
Okay, that's what
you.
I thought.
I would say I'm built more for distance, you for short spurts. It just depends on your perspective here. You were in New York. You just got back a little bit ago. Alex going to drive you home today? Is that right?
Yeah, what are we taking? The
He's gonna
Lambo?
Yeah, Ferrari, actually.
Ferrari,
Yeah,
there you go.
You got to ride in the trunk, though. New seats are covered.
I'm curious. I like the inside baseball stuff. I'm a fan of media, all of it. What's it like to go to New York? I know, truly. Yesterday, Eli Drinkwitz said I'm a huge dork. That is also me when it comes to the media stuff. What's it like to go to the Times building? I mean, you work technically under the New York Times umbrella.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, and for people who don't know, the Athletic was, it originated in San Francisco 2017, the two co-founders, and then they eventually sold it to the New York Times a couple years ago for $550 million. Yeah, and so now whenever we have our meetings, they're up in New York, so I was there the past couple days, and it was great. We're in the building. Yeah, goosebumps. I mean, literally you got a badge that takes you into the Times building and up the stairs, and we had a couple days worth of meetings and, kind of get everybody excited about the season and how we're going to cover. A lot more video. I want to point that out. We're gonna try to hit the video a little bit
And you
more.
probably stood up and said, guys, I'm already way ahead of you. I do the Last Minute Blues podcast, which is pretty successful. Don't want to brag.
When you say video, do you mean inclusions into the stories itself, kind of like what you have been doing, or are you talking like you'll actually be doing
video
YouTube
Yeah,
stuff?
so it's a great question. The answer is, and we're kind of learning this right now, is the Athletic doesn't yet have the infrastructure to incorporate and produce the videos and put them in the story right away. They will at some point, but we're not there yet. So for the time being, yes, TikTok, YouTube videos, you're leaving practice. Here's what I think about the move today. Here's what I think about, this guy got sent up, down, but, so we're going to try to produce some of that and eventually get to a point where those can be embedded into the stories for the subscribers.
You think you got any TikTok dance moves in you?
It's going to be funny is because I've been making fun of my 16-year-old daughter for all her TikTok stuff for like 2 years now. And so now I'm going to come home and say, hey, can you create this account for me?
I need you to set this up.
I pushed back hard on the TikTok stuff. I really did for a really long time. And our bosses continued to tell us, you've got to do TikTok. You've got to do TikTok. And I was like, no. That's where the 16-year-old kids are to do all of their dance moves. And what I've seen since our station started actually really producing a lot of stuff on TikTok, dude, there's a huge audience on TikTok for what we do. I had no idea, and I was flat out wrong about it. I did not think our audience was there, and I was dead wrong. There's a huge audience.
Huge, yeah, it's there. And I don't want to dismiss X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, but like, there's a lot of us who we got our jobs at the Athletic, A, because we covered the team, but B, we had a Twitter following, and the people migrated, followed us over to the Athletic. But now you look at Twitter, you look at X, like, I'm really getting to the point where is it even worth it to live tweet games? People are watching the games, you're talking about
We have this conversation a lot during games.
I think the answer is no.
Yeah, I think it's no. I really do. And not that I'm not trying to sound like a 16-year-old kid when I say this, but I remember you used to like tweet, that's why the Blues traded for that guy. The plays like that. And it would get 500 likes, 200 retweets. And now it's down to nothing. And so I think when you post on TikTok, when you post on Instagram, you can just see it take off. So anyway, just a little tangent there. But I think that's where things are going a little bit.
Yeah, I think Instagram as well is another spot. Instagram, TikTok, those two places, especially if you're doing any kind of video content.
I've got one more on the Athletic conversation because when you're in the building, I'm assuming you see a lot of the people that are a part of the Athletic. Have you walked up to a couple of guys and said, what the bleep?
Because put your finger in their chest.
I've got two bones to
Dom,
pick. One
let
with
me tell
Tom
you about this.
and one with Corey Promden. Dude needs to chill on Dalibor Dvorsky, and then Dom needs to chill with his projections.
Starts with a D and ends in an Om.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Dom. Yeah, actually, this is crazy that you asked because last night we did the after hour party and I punched the Uber and it's on the way, and all of a sudden Dom comes up to me and he goes, "Hey, JR," and I said, "What?" And he goes, "Get ready." And I said, "What's that?" And he said, "You might as well start writing your story now. Get it ready to say that Dom's wrong and the Blues are better than this." And I said, "Dom, what's the point total projection?" And he said, "What do you guys think?"
Alex, what do you think?
It's got to be like 89 or 90 because it's Dom and he's gonna
Last year they were
downplay
at
him.
96. It required 96 to get in. I think you're probably going to have to be around there this year. My assumption is he doesn't have the Blues in the playoffs, so I'll say 90.
Yeah.
I'll go 85.
85?
I hate both of you.
91.5.
Oh, God, Tom.
91.5.
I'm so
That's not
done
as
with
bad
you.
as I thought, though. You know?
Yeah.
That's terrible.
And he said, so tell Blues fans that I got him a little underrated. And then I said, shocker, Tom.
Probably think Parayko's a bust of a contract, too.
And so people know the context here, right? Like in 2018-19, he didn't have him very high. First half of the year, they're not performing well. He says, see, I told you. And then they win the Stanley
And
Cup.
they said, see, we told you.
So ever since then, it's kind of been a...
How do you feel? Like, you've been around these people now that are viewing everything from a national perspective, right? And we're all here locally. We view everything through the lens of the St. Louis Blues and then the NHL. As you talk to them and you get their perspective at times about the Blues, how are you feeling about this team? Just big picture-wise.
Well, here's the thing. Whether it's 91.5 or it's 95, 96, look, you're talking about the difference of 4 points, which is huge in terms of do you make the playoffs or not. But I don't think you can look at a season and say, no, this is definitely a 96-point team, not a 91.5. You know, there's injuries. There's everything. But as I look at this team and people you talk to, I feel like the Blues are in a similar situation as last year where you're a competitive team. You got a really good chance at a wild card. And gosh, if everything goes right and you get a couple career years, maybe you're third place in the Central Division. I think that's where they're at right now. And, you know, they changed out a couple parts and they're going to rely on some younger players. You got a guy that you really like, Jimmy Snuggerud, who could come in and maybe he's a 25-goal guy and wins the Calder. Who knows? So, you know, I would say anywhere in the early 90s in terms of points is where a lot of people look at
Do you think the Jim Montgomery bump is going to be a thing this year? Like, obviously, it's what catapulted them to that run that they had towards the end. But now you've got a first full training camp, a first full preseason where he's working with these guys.
I think it's legit. And whether you want to call it a bump or whatever you want to call it, the situation is when they show up for day one of training camp, they know who the guy is. They know he's here for the next 4 or 5 years minimum. They know what he expects. They know he brings positive energy to the rink every single day, and they know they can win with him. So I think that makes you play better. And we saw that from them last year. And that can mean the difference, you know, in several points. Like this team wants to play for Jim Montgomery. He's going to be there from day one. It's a lot different than what we had last year.
Sorry to jump in again, BK.
No, it's cool, man. It's hockey. I get it.
You were probably going to talk more about writing or something like that again. So the part that Jim Montgomery is viewed as one of the better coaches in the NHL, mostly because of the X's and O's, but kind of how he rallies the troops. Berube was a guy that I don't know if he was viewed as that until he won the Stanley Cup. Then he was viewed as a big... Who was the last time that the Blues had a coach like this that was viewed as... Is it Hitchcock?
Yeah, in terms of...
Like X's and O's, like viewed as one of the best coaches.
X's and O's, making adjustments. Yeah, because Berube he had admitted himself, I'm more of a gut guy, you know. Like, hey, why'd you make that line change in the third? Well, my gut told me that, you know. But guys played for him, right? And I think Montgomery brings both of those elements. Where maybe Hitchcock had the X's and O's, but
wasn't a gut guy.
Guys, well, I wasn't going there, but the guys want to play. Like, yeah, sometimes, you know, so the players told me they played in spite of him.
Upshaw was.
Yeah. But so then you have Berube, who, you know, definitely he can get the guys to rally. But now you have a guy who brings the energy. He brings the intangibles of coming to the rink every day and players wanting to be better because he's trying to make them better, and they listen to the details. That's the biggest thing. A lot of these coaches, they go out there, I want you guys to do X, Y, Z today, and they go out and skate, and yeah, you probably do X, Y, Z, but not to the fullest. But he, you know, Montgomery gets that out of him. So yeah. I think that's the biggest thing with Jim. But you're right. That's a good observation. You know, he's got the X's and O's, and he's got that charisma. Jeremy
Rutherford, our guest here on 101 ESPN. You can read his work over at The Athletic. You can also follow him on Twitter and potentially soon on Instagram and TikTok.
JR.
At JP Rutherford. Jerry, you had a piece that dropped the other day about the 2028-2029 St. Louis Blues, projecting their lineup for those seasons. My first reaction as I looked at this piece was, they've got a center problem, like a long-term center problem. They'll have Robert Thomas, have no idea on Dalibor Dvorsky, we'll see. But then your current starter pegged in on the third and fourth line is trade/UFA.
That'll be fine.
As you were writing it, that was my reaction to the piece. As you were writing it, What stood out to you about the way that this team is set up, not just for the here and now, but also for the foreseeable future?
Yeah, and keep in mind, for people who didn't see the article, we're talking about 28, 29. So we're 3 years out. And I did this article a couple years ago, and you can see how it stacks up to what I predicted 3 years ago. And what was there, like 6 forwards, probably 4 defensemen?
Yeah, you had Saad, O'Reilly, Perron, Barbie as the main
so
ones
not so
that were
good.
still here.
So,
But the defense was right.
but the defense was close, yeah. So
was right there, yeah.
Parayko.
Yeah.
You had Mikola and that.
Yeah, well,
that was
they
about
probably
it.
like Mikola, but
So you look at it this time around, and guys, I gotta admit, you sit down and do a lot of assignments. This one's hard, right? Because the one thing that you can't predict is, A, who's going to be resigned, but also these young, you're not going to have 4 or 5 21-year-olds in the lineup. But as you look to the future with the Blues and you think about the Snugruds, Dvorsky, Stenbergs, Lintz, all these guys, I can't put all those guys in the lineup. So I had to create some holes where I think they exist, and they're at center, right? Because, Braden Shen in 3 years may not be a Blue. You look at Thomas at the top, maybe Dvorsky, second-line center. If he doesn't pan out, you're going to have somebody fill that spot. And then I know I got some pushback. People said, what about Otto Stenberg as your third-line center? Well, he's projected more as a winger.
where he was playing last year in the minors.
And that's where he's playing in Springfield. So you can say Otto Stenberg, maybe he'll be a center by that point, but not at this point. So I see it third, fourth-line center.
So what you're saying is next offseason, all hands on board. They've got to get Connor McDavid. Like they've got to make the push, and that's the move because they clearly have a hole in their system. Right
Yeah, that'd be something.
there's already
yeah.
contract controversy, so why not? Although I don't know if you saw it from Media Day right now that's taking place. I think it's in Vegas. Apparently Sidney Crosby's going to get moved. So why not go
really?
trade for Sidney Crosby?
Is that the latest
Well,
buzz?
his agent decides to talk about it and says like, oh, well, I want to see him in the playoffs. So if Pittsburgh's not going to be in the playoffs, then he's going to have to go somewhere else.
Yeah,
Did
so
that
he'll-
really happen?
Yeah.
So he'll only be 41 in 2020.
It's fine. It's fine. Go get Malkin and Crosby, and you'll be set up.
Yeah, and then the other area, just to put a bow on that, is on defense. I had 2 young guys.
I saw that as a strength.
in that top 4, which I think can be a strength. When you have a Juracek on the right side, and also Lucas Fisher.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
On the left side. Now, do I think that in 2028, 29, they're going to have a 21 and 22-year-old second pair defense? Probably not. But those are the guys who project there. I did get some pushback. Theo Lindstein, is he in that mix? He potentially could be, but he doesn't have the ceiling that the other 2 have.
Then on the goaltending, I saw that, I'm sure, but no Binnington.
Yeah, well.
What do you guys think about that?
I disagree with it, but that's
I think we talked about that.
I think Binnington finishes his career in St. Louis.
What is Jordan Binnington's age right now?
31? Is that right?
I was going to say 32,
Jordan
31,
Binnington
32.
going into the season, he's 32, just turned 32 this summer. So by 2028, do some quick math, like 35, 36.
Yeah, but then you're talking about a 2-year
1
deal.
year.
3, yeah, right?
Yeah, you're talking a 1 or 2 year deal.
I think it just comes down to, like, what does Benner want? Because he could probably, at that point, still be a starter somewhere. But it might be one of those situations where you can go be a starter for whatever that version of the Sharks is, or that version of
Or
the
you could be in a
Penguins is.
50-50 split because they already don't use you enough. It's kind of...
I would say at that point, he's probably not the starter.
Yeah, I was going to say, because you had a situation,
35,
you
36,
can't
that's old,
keep
man.
playing Hofer, 26, 27 games at that point. Eventually, they have to hand it
They'd have
over
to flip
him.
it.
Yeah.
The salaries, the way that they are right now, they'd probably have to flip it. And the playing time, it would be accordingly, So...
Yeah.
I think it really comes down to what Benner wants at that point in time. If he wants to be a starter, he'd probably have to do that.
I think it comes down also to how he's playing, because if he's still playing well, I mean, we've seen goaltenders have a lot of success even when they get older, and if he's playing well and if Joel Hofer's still kind of up and down, you may look at it and say, well, we got a guy who still is performing. Maybe we need to go find another guy to back up for a couple of years.
Yeah, because you can't pay a backup goalie at that point.
Yeah.
$6+ million.
No, you can't eat that much
with
salary.
The cap rising the way that it has, backup goalies are going to get real money.
Well, and then Hofer's got a couple-year new deal, right? And then he's going to go up after that. So,
No doubt.
Yeah, because that Dustin Wolf just signed with Calgary $7.5 million for 7 years, and he's played 1 full season in the NHL. So you're going to start seeing contracts go up for goalies.
JR, it's been good to catch up, man.
Yeah, real good.
Hang out.
No, I'm going to take off. JR and I'm going to take him home. You guys got the next couple
You need
segments.
the Martin Kilcoyne.
Yeah, no, I got
Hour
onboarding.
off.
I got onboarding, as they call it. So JR and I are going to head out. We're going to go get lunch.
Yep. Just follow me on the Twitter. As my daughter, she said, Dad, how many followers do you have? And I said, I have no idea. 109,741. No idea.
My God. Take that, T-Bone. How many you got?
BK, hopefully that's not close, because then you're going to think I really knew that.
109,100 and something. I don't know. I can't.
Nailed it.
It's the decimal point for me. I can't see it. It's so many followers. They only give you the 4 digits there.
1,034.
Look at T-Bone.
There you go.
Smash
T-Bone.
that follow button.
What's your Twitter account?
At T-Bone101 ESPN.
Can anybody find you?
No.
What's your TikTok at?
I don't understand
What's your
what happened.
Snapchat?
T-Bone is hidden.
Yeah,
I
I
can't
don't know
tag
either.
him on anything.
X doesn't
I
know
can't
either, by
link
the
to
way.
him on anything. I cannot find Tanner on the tweets.
I asked him about that one time, because I tried to tag him when we did these hits, and he said it's Elon.
Yeah.
It's true.
I
T-Bone
don't know
said
what's
something.
going on.
Said something about Tesla.
I think T-Bone's just got his privacy because he's worried one of us
must
is
have.
going to start tweeting out from his account or something if we can hack
Trust
it.
me, I wish you could find me on X. And trust me, I have looked at my settings, and I have even emailed with X.
If you'd like to, you can follow Alex at Ferrario 101 ESPN. You can follow me at BK Sports Talk. I think, is that your same accounts on Instagram and
Yeah,
TikTok
I'm not
as
a
well?
creative guy. You know what? I use them on all platforms.
Same
I'm
thing.
easily findable.
Exactly. That's where I'm at as well. So you can find us all over on the tweets, Instagram, TikTok.
You'll know it's
all
us
of the stuff.
when you go to my X account because you see the billboard picture of BK and I that was taken 5 years ago.
Love to see it. All right, JR, appreciate the
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
man. Thanks
Wrap
for
this show
hopping
up.
in.
I need a ride home.
Jared needs a ride home. Let's go.
All right, right now, it's Blues season officially, now that JR's coming in studio with us. And we are going to give you a chance to win 2 tickets to see Blues and Brews next Friday, September the 19th. That is at the Anheuser-Busch Brewery. Get fired up for the Blues season at this outdoor street party. It features live music from the band Perry, plus appearances by blues players, alumni, food trucks, and on-stage festivities. It's all hosted by Chris Kerber and Joey Vitale. So much more. Tickets on sale for Blues and Brews, presented by Bud Light, 101 ESPN, 92.3 WIL, and the Scott Lee Heating Company. Find all of those details at 101ESPN.com or tune in all week long, and we'll give you a chance to score a pair of tickets right here on 101 ESPN. Your question today. Earlier today, we talked about somebody that made quite the stir on social media yesterday. Who made that stir on social media? If you have the correct answer in your texter number 101 at 314-399-9646, you are getting that pair of tickets to Blues and Brews coming up on September 19th. Coming up next, NFL Quick Hitters here on 101 ESPN. Alongside Alex and T-Bone, I'm BK. Let's dive into some NFL quick hitters here on BK and Ferrario. Alex, it's a quick week for me. I'm out on Thursday and Friday, and then out again next Monday. Save your applause.
Okay, cool.
So I did want to get an early start on the weekend's games, if you guys don't mind. I know it's only Tuesday.
No, you're not stealing our segments from later this week.
Weekend look ahead's on
We've
Friday.
got 4 minutes in this segment, all right, big boy?
You know what? JR and I are going to head out.
We can just go to break. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
27 technically is when the clock says we go to break.
No.
It's 26:22.
Not my clock.
Yeah, not on TNA's clock either. So
Well, they're technically
this is still the first segment.
They use 3 segment hours,
got
Alex.
4.
They do things
That's what I'm
differently.
They still
They
can't
get
get
to be there
in, and they
first.
still can't get in on time.
Touche. Can I start with the Thursday game?
No, man.
This game rocks, dude. I'm so excited to watch this. We'll be in Vermont. I'll be in some
Burlington.
All right, well, into that
All right,
conversation.
T-Bone, let's get to the next segment.
Commanders at the Packers. Packers are a 3.5-point home favorite in this game. That feels a little low to me, but I love it.
Yeah, chill
A
on your
short
Packers hype, though.
We're about to find out how real what we saw last week was from the Packers, because this is a big time test, man. In week 1, they looked great against a Lions team that does not have either of their coordinators from a year ago. Their interior defensive line is getting made over on the fly. They looked awesome against them, man. Those screen plays that used to go for 40 yards to Jamison Williams, they went for 4 yards last week against the Packers. They looked fast defensively. They have a great defensive line. Do you have an early projection on this one, Alex? In Lambeau Field, Packers versus the Commanders on Thursday Night Football.
I think this one's going to be a lot tighter than what we saw in that Packers-Lions game. I think this one's going to be one score, maybe field goal difference. I'm curious to see how the Packers defense looks against a mobile quarterback, because one thing we know about Jared Goff is he is not that. With Jaden Daniels, it's not going to be as easy as that. Now, the offensive line, I think, is probably better on Detroit's side than it is Washington's side. I think we're talking a high-scoring game in this one, but I think we're also talking a very tight game. I think the Commanders win it, though.
Yeah, I'm leaning Commanders as well. I look at the Packers and go, okay, the defense, it was good against Jared Goff. I expect it's going to have another pretty good game. But what I think it is different is I think you're going to see the Commanders' offense be able to show a little bit more than what we saw last game. You know, I think you're going to see Jaden Daniels have a fantastic game against them. I think Commanders are going to be the ones that walk out of here victorious.
You guys know where I'm at.
I know, buddy.
They're 17-0 in your book.
Yeah.
Go Pack, go.
Winning the Stanley Cup, the Super Bowl. In your book.
They might be the last team in the NFL to lose.
Oh, they're still losing.
That'll be the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Let me read you off their schedule real quick. If they beat Washington the way that I'm projecting, I know you guys have them losing, but in the scenario that I'm right, doesn't happen often.
Actually, it never happens on the BKO with football.
I know. This week was really bad for me, man. I had the Bears last night.
Also BKO'd.
At Cleveland, at Dallas, home for Cincinnati, at Arizona, at Pittsburgh, at Carolina, home versus Carolina. They could win every single one of those games. They'll probably be favored to win every single one of those games. And then they're home against Philadelphia, and that might be for the 1 seed in the NFC this year. Not totally out of the realm of the possible that the Green Bay Packers are your final undefeated team this season at 9-0 going into that game against Philadelphia. Green Bay, best team in the NFL right now.
Can't wait for them to lose by like 2 scores against Washington on Thursday.
5-3. They don't have a go-to guy.
We will
kind of
spend
struggles again.
all of the opening segment on Friday talking about how dumb you were to pick the Packers.
I know. It'll be great.
It will be great.
Can we all agree the biggest game in the NFL on Sunday is the Chiefs versus the Eagles?
Sure.
I haven't gotten to that point because typically our weekend look ahead is on Friday.
You guys throwing a game at us, and I'm like, man, it is Tuesday, man.
Yeah, man. Let's absolutely agree on it because I haven't looked at it.
Hold on, give me a second.
Yeah, well, the Bills play the Jets.
T-Bone's voice was only one of 2 things. Either he didn't care, actually one of 3. He did not care what the biggest game was this week. 2, had no idea what other games were on the slate.
Yeah, that one.
Or 3, just didn't want to argue it.
It was 2 and 3.
Well, which I was in the same line of thinking as him.
Another game I personally like is Jaguars at the Bengals. I liked what I saw from the Jags last week. I think they could put up some big numbers. I think that could be your fantasy bonanza. Like if you're playing daily fantasy this weekend, doing something on an underdog, you want to take some hires, I would say Jaguars at the Bengals would be the game that I would pinpoint. But Eagles Chiefs, have you guys seen the line on this?
it's got to be pretty hefty in favor of Philadelphia.
Nope.
It's at home for Kansas City. Chiefs -1.5.
Ooh, I would not
That
take that.
surprises me. Does that surprise you guys at all?
Yes.
Yeah, because I would think the Eagles would be favored.
Yeah.
That's a pretty strong sign of support for Kansas City. That's almost an auto bet for me where I would just say, pound it. I like the Eagles in that one. Which should scare the hell out of both of you if you agree with me. But Eagles +1.5 feels like an obvious pick.
The only
right?
reason I think they were going with this, and Vegas always knows, is it's hard to imagine the Chiefs being 0-2 to start the season and losing their home opener.
I hear you,
fair.
but the following week they've got...
He's getting nervous about his pick already.
No, I go back to 2021. Chiefs started that season 3-4, then finished strong. We're 12-5. That was the year that they lost to Cincinnati, and you guys certainly remember that. 2019 it was. They started the year 6-4 as well. So they were only 6-4 through the first 10 weeks. Now, Mahomes got hurt in week 7 of that year, so he missed a few games, but they only lost one of them. So it's happened before. Wouldn't be the first time that we've seen the Chiefs start a little bit slow. It's just been a few years now.
Now that I've gotten a chance to look at the schedule,
I was going to say, now that I've pulled
take
up
some
what
time
week 2.
to take a second to look. Man, week 2 sucks.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
Outside of like Chiefs, Eagles, you mentioned Jags and the Bengals might be fun. Outside of the Thursday night game, there's not a lot there.
Bears Lions will be interesting just to kind of see if Detroit can get back on track.
I like Seahawks Steelers. I think
I've
that's a
thought
pretty
about
interesting
that,
game.
but-
It's a noon game, though, so I know you're going to hate the Seahawks in that one. Steelers are a 2.5-point favorite.
Yeah, and I just don't. Can I be honest? We talked about the exciting teams earlier. Steelers are not exciting. Seahawks are not that exciting.
Yeah,
Agreed.
both
It
are
just
very
could be
boring.
a good football game. Like, I think the Steelers, I don't really know what to make of them because I don't know what to make of the Jets. So their offensive outburst against the Jets, I have no idea how real that is.
I think I'm going to be locked into
But
Giants
if they
Cowboys.
look like that against the Seahawks, I think the Seahawks defense is legit. I think it's good. And if the Steelers look that way offensively again, maybe I underestimated them.
And you mentioned the Jets. If the Jets can run the football like they did last week, I saw Buffalo struggle against the run.
Yeah.
So that could be more interesting than we expect.
Patriots Dolphins. Does that entice anybody?
I mean, if the Dolphins lose that one, fire them into the sun and fire everybody.
Trade Tyreek.
Well,
To the
he's got
Chiefs.
other issues going on right now. I don't think anybody can touch that right now. He can't be traded. There's domestic violence allegations, again, all alleged, but that's on the back burner for the time being. Yeah, I think Jags-Bengals is like this second or third best game on the Sunday slate, the main slate.
Guess I'll kick into football a little bit later then. Because woof.
Good weekend to be in Vermont, I'll tell you that much. With Alex and
don't
T-Bone, I'm
know.
BK. It's
Never
BK and
good to
Ferrario
be
here
in
on
Vermont.
101 ESPN. Coming up in 15 minutes, we're going to get into the rewind. But next, Eli Drinkwitz might be answering one of the biggest questions that we had about him, even with what the Fast Lane has to say about this guy. We'll talk about it next here on 101 ESPN.
BK football is officially back and over on the Underdog app. I'm already getting pumped up for Thursday night's action. We just talked a little bit about it, so I put my entry in. Get ready for a winner, ladies and gentlemen. I've got Krosky Merritt higher in rushing yards. I've got Josh Jacobs higher in rush and receiving touchdowns. Matt Gay higher in field goals made. And I've got Micah Parsons higher than a half sack. I put those four together over on Underdog, and I am ready to go for Thursday.
Playing on Underdog is easy. Choose whether your favorite players are going to go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and so much more. Get those entries correct, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. You can play with as little as just $1. The Underdog app is easy to use. Download it today and sign up using our promo code. That's promo code BKO, promo code BKO. BKO to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code BKO. Millions of fans have already won billions playing with Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog. Make plays, win money. Must be 18 or older. Present in Missouri. Terms to apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Tanner Henderson here with a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. Cardinals fell to the Mariners last night 4-2. They are back in action tonight as it's game 2 of their 3-game set out in Seattle. 8:40 will be first pitch. Matthew Liberatore gets to start for St. Louis. George Kirby will be on the mound for Seattle. The Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin heating and air conditioning dealer.
Alongside Alex and T-Bone on BK. So Mizzou football is certainly in the news over the last couple of days.
Hot
Don't know
button
why.
topic.
Fast lane coming up at 2 o'clock, by the way.
The Open. You think they're going to go Cardinals?
Yeah.
I would say that my bet, they'll open NFL.
No, they're opening Mizzou. You gotta pounce. You gotta strike while the iron's hot right now, man.
We'll see.
You want to make a side bet?
Maybe I'll do a play on the Underdog app.
Promo code BKO. If you do, we know how the BKO works.
All right, so I did want
to
as I was thinking through things today, and trying to think about how we can advance this conversation on the Missouri Tigers and not just rehash how angry we are about.
We should totally advance a conversation that people are angry about.
The celebration and or whether or not Mizzou actually did play anybody this weekend. I was thinking to myself, man, I really like Bo Prabula. I understand some are suggesting that he hasn't played anybody yet, and that's fair. I think that you can take some things away, though, from games regardless of your opponent. And thus far, Bo Prabula has completed 80% of his passes, Alex, for more than 600 yards through the air. I had questions about his arms. His arm, rather. Not both arms.
Both of them? Well, I mean, you got to use the other one typically when you're running.
His legs were never in doubt for me. We knew that he was a guy that was going to come in and be a good runner for Mizzou. That's what he did at Penn State. But I didn't know if he was a good passer or not. I think we have now seen, at a bare minimum, he's good. Maybe he's not a Heisman candidate. That's entirely possible. But he's good.
Joke's on you.
So the reason why I wanted to bring this up today is because I think it was an open-ended question on whether or not Eli Drinkwitz could identify a quarterback talent, get that guy to come to Mizzou, develop it, and then have him play on the field at a high level. We hadn't seen it yet. We've seen him bring in Sam Horn, who was a high pedigree quarterback, so he closed the deal. But then Sam Horn, through sometimes no fault of his own, has just never been able to play for Mizzou over the last 4 seasons. So it never worked out for him. Brady Cook was a guy that was already committed to Mizzou when Drinkwitz got the job. So Bazelak was already here. He has not started his guy at quarterback until this season. It's the first time that we've seen it. When you think back to Gary Pinkel, who's really the only guy in the last, 40 years that's had sustained success at Mizzou, one of the key reasons for that success was the quarterback plan. Always had somebody. From Brad Smith all the way up until he left and Drew Lock was the quarterback, there was always a plan in place. And almost every single time, it worked. He had the right guy ready to take over for the one that left. Bo Prabula appears to be the right guy. So one of the big tests for me for Eli Drinkwitz on whether or not he would be able to sustain this run beyond just one quarterback, Brady Cook, looking back on it and saying, wow, that was a great run with him. Bo Prabula is giving me faith not only in this team for 2025, but also for 26, 27, 28, and beyond. Hey, Eli Drinkwitz found this guy, recruited him. They developed him over the offseason. They clearly saw something, and now we're seeing it implemented on the field. He's answering one of the big questions that still remained.
A couple of things for our Fast Lane listeners coming up. BK just said Eli Drinkwitz is Gary Pinkel, and also, I'll preface what I'm about to say. We haven't seen it yet by Bo Prabula, unlike what BK just told us. Okay. But with all that being said, I think you nailed it. We talked in the beginning of the year or not the beginning of the year, at the end of Mizzou season last year, talking about how he's going to have to go to the transfer portal. And I remember you listed about 3 or 4 guys that they should target. I never once had question of would Drink be able to close the deal, because we know how good of a recruiter he is in terms of getting guys to commit to Mizzou and keeping them here. My bigger question was, can you find the actual talent? Because yes, you found it in terms of offensive weapons. Yes, you have found it with defensive players. We've seen that from Mizzou since Drinkwitz has been here. But I haven't seen it at quarterback, and I also haven't seen you coach up that player to take the next step. Like Brady Cook, as good as he was always just kind of the same guy every year.
Right here.
You knew what to expect. It was the same pulse line. But with Drinkwitz, it was like, can you get more out of this? Because when he was hired, it's like, dude, this guy is a genius in terms of his play calling and what he can do with his weapons. I never saw that. But now that it's his guy, he identified, closed the deal, brought him in, and now you're seeing the coach-up ability with Drink. So, yeah, I'm with you. I think now you're getting answers on the biggest question that I had with Drinkwitz.
I'm also excited to see what Kirby does with him. Kirby Moore, Mizzou's offensive coordinator, I wonder if he was looking for something that was closer to Bo Prabula than what they had with Brady Cook. Who, listen, I liked Brady Cook. I don't want any of this to come off as me diminishing what he was able to do for Mizzou. The guy was a winner. And he, I think, was a more than capable SEC starter.
Just wasn't as precise with his deep throws as Prabula's.
Accuracy in general just wasn't his thing.
Yeah.
He was not as accurate of a quarterback as what we have seen thus far through 2 games by Bo Prabula. That could change. We'll see what happens in the SEC. But so far, he has been more accurate than we saw from Brady Cook, and I think that's going to translate long term. So I wonder if we're seeing Kirby Moore develop more of a game plan around Bo Prabula as well. He's showing some stuff that we hadn't seen from Kirby in the past. He also just has more weapons. They have more options in the passing game this year than they've had in previous seasons. Theo was maybe as good or better than any of the receivers. Luther certainly as good or better than any of the receivers that they currently have. They're just deeper at that position now. They go 4, 5, 6 deep at receiver, and they've got a tight end who's finally healthy and looks the part of a legit borderline All-American type of tight end with Brett Norfleet. So it's been fun to watch. It's only 2 games. They only played Central Arkansas in that week 1. I think a borderline top 25 team in week 2 against Kansas. But for me, I've been really impressed by what they've been able to get out of the offense, and that all starts with Bo Perbula, who I'm not throwing any kind of a parade for, but I do think it's fair to acknowledge the guy has been awesome thus far. And if you're just going by what they have done, regardless of opponents, probably been the best quarterback in the SEC through the first 2 weeks of the SEC season.
We'll throw the parade after the UMass win.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's when we will celebrate Bo Perbula.
I'll be running through the...
with no clothes on.
I'll be running through the forest in Vermont.
Out in Burlington.
Coming
trying to look for a coat out there.
Next, we're going to put a bow on this thing with the Rewind here on 101 ESPN.
Tanner Hendrickson here to tell you about my friends at DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, which is coming soon here to the Show Me State. Starting November 17th, you can create your DraftKings Sportsbook account here in Missouri and get ready for launch day on December 1st. As new Missouri customers, when they download that app, when we go live, you can place that $5 bet to unlock $300 in bonus bets. DraftKings Sportsbook brings everything you're going to need to elevate your game day, including live in-game betting, lightning-fast payouts, and endless ways to get in on the action, all right from your phone. And when we officially go live in Missouri, you'll be betting with a sportsbook app trusted by millions. Safe, secure, and has fast money withdrawals. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and grab $300 in bonus bets with just a $5 bet when we go live December 1st in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER, 21 plus, physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance.
Alongside Alex and T-Bone, I'm BK. I was just invited to be on the Fast Lane today at 2:15, so I'll stick around for a little while.
I wonder what they could talk about.
Well, I have to get shot in the butt.
I don't know if it was much of an invitation and as a requirement.
Yeah, and I like how Marshy was like, well, you're not going to have to do this every week. Okay, Marshy. We'll see. I don't know if you've heard him on our pick'ems, but he's going to be doing it every week.
It'll be great when I get punished for them, and then I get punished for our show. It'll be wonderful. What could possibly go wrong? Yeah, I got 8 picks correct this week. I don't know if you guys have done the math, but there's 16 games, 8 picks correct. That's hard to do.
Yeah,
I mean, throw darts at the board.
I say this, and
I would have done better.
I think she's awesome.
That.
Learn, who doesn't like sports at all, picked 12 correct. Learn, who despises sports, picked 4 more correct than you.
Yeah, listen, it wasn't good. It wasn't a good week for me.
Thinking too much over there, or what we got going on?
I think he's trying to sasabotage the fast lane.
I still feel good about most of my picks.
He saw what was happening.
I don't have regrets.
We have a problem right there.
Okay,
we should have regrets when we
You
go.
should have regrets.
50% as our hit rate.
I picked the Falcons over the Bucks.
That's a regret.
I have no problem with the side that I was on there.
Well, you picked a team that doesn't have a good field goal kicker.
Okay. Well, I feel like that was a 50-50 game. Could have gone either way. Win against me. Steelers versus the Jets. I feel fine about the side that I was on. They made a 60-yard kick to win it.
You picked the side that had your fantasy football quarterback. Be honest.
No, I thought that the Jets would win that game. They're at home. I thought both teams were relatively evenly matched, and ultimately that's exactly what played
your
out.
hate got in your way.
I had the Seahawks over the 49ers. I have no regrets over that pick.
decision.
I think that it could have gone that direction. I picked, what else did I had the Ravens over the Bills. I mean, come on.
Now, you BKO'd that one.
And then last night I had the Bears over the Vikings. That's 5 of the 8 that I got wrong. All of them easily could have gone in my direction. Now, none of them did, which is unlikely and unfortunate.
Let's talk about the other
for my
3,
ass, but it could have gone my way.
Let's talk about the other 3 that you got
I picked
wrong.
the Dolphins.
Okay, here we go.
Could have gone better.
I think a lot of them.
I picked the Chiefs. It is what it is.
See, your favoritism and your hatred gets in your way of your picks.
I don't remember what
question.
the last one was, honestly.
The real question is, did
You
you
picked the Saints, didn't you?
No, I
you
think I
win,
might have picked the Patriots. I'm not positive on
your
that.
survivor pool? Did you survive?
Yeah, I had the Broncos. Now, it didn't look pretty, but they advanced, and that's all that matters in Survivor.
Yeah. I did 2 survivor pools. I picked the Broncos and I picked the Eagles.
I went Broncos. My sister went Rams, which I was a little worried about too for a little bit.
It's going to be crazy when you have to pick all 32 teams in your Survivor pool.
Well, I'm in a different survivor pool than you. You have to pick 2 every week. Sorry.
That would be fun, actually. I think that would be cool.
I think that's actually one of them that I'm in. It's one that my
Did
buddy...
you pick 2 last week?
Yeah.
But you said you have 2 teams.
Well, no. So I'm in one that I'm in with him, and then I'm in one that I'm in with my buddies, and that's the survivor pool that you pick like 2, 3. I don't know.
I don't think you believe what you're saying right now.
I know I do.
I know you were trying to convince us.
Yeah.
It didn't work.
Yeah, I failed.
Yeah.
It was worth a shot, though.
Might have been better off without the shot.
Cardinals back in
I was
action
right,
tonight.
though. Okay, cool. Let's wrap up the show.
Woo! Red Birch.
Cards versus the Mariners. Alex, do you know who's starting for the Cardinals tonight?
I've said it 3 times.
Yeah, I was going to say, you guys have said it. Matthew Liberatore. It's why you picked Cal Raleigh. I listen.
That's true. Underdog app. I've got Cal Raleigh hitting a home run. He's got an OPS over 1,000.
I'm always listening. I'm selective in what I want to
lefties.
respond to.
George Kirby getting the start for the Mariners. He has not been particularly good this season for
Bryce
Seattle.
Miller's been bad, too, for Seattle. Either not rotations, all that. It's
Do you think they get a win?
Who, Mariners?
I hope not.
No, the Cardinals. Do
I
you think
hope
the Cardinals
not.
will get a win tonight?
No. I don't.
I think you've seen offense bounce back. I think they hit Kirby. I think they win tonight.
I think
I think they hit Liberatore.
I think this is a relatively high-scoring game. 7-4 Mariners get the W.
6-1 Mariners.
Oh, see, I'm thinking 4-3 Cardinals. He's going to have the bullpen available tonight, so you're going to see...
That's true.
Do you want this team to get a good draft pick?
I mean, what's the difference between 7 and 11? Odds are not a lot.
4 picks.
You know?
Decent amount.
No, nah. What you're going to read later on this offseason is outside the top 5, there's nothing that's there. It's just a mix of a bunch of players.
You could probably get to the top 5.
Really what it just comes down to is their player evaluation.
Cardinals currently 9th. It's going to be pretty tough for them to get higher than 8th.
Yeah, see?
But they could get as low as 14 or 15.
What's the difference between 7 and 15?
They're not going to do
Right
there.
now, they're a half game up on 14.
Yeah, they're not going to get there.
It's a half game. It's
You just said they're going to win.
Them and the Reds, the difference is one loss.
Look,
the Cardinals have one more loss in the same number of
If
wins.
you really believe in Heim, say it with your chest, he'll nail this
He's not in
draft
charge.
pick 7 through 15.
He's not
He
in
will
charge.
be for this
T-Bone,
one.
that's Alex. I'm BK. If you guys missed anything from today's show, be sure to check it out on the podcast page after the show today, 101ESPN.com, and the free 101 ESPN app is where you go to find it. That is all sponsored by
Shea for Door Company.
Grade from today's show, Alex?
8.9.
8.9, okay.
8.9.
I'll go 8.4. I didn't like how I got thrown into a weekend look ahead on Tuesday.
I will
BK was a
go
little Tony at times.
9.6. Only reason it's not a 10 is because it's not Wednesday yet, which is my Friday. We will talk to you guys then. The Fast
do
Lane
another
coming
weekend
up
look ahead.
next year on 101 ESPN.